At the Okoli Law Group, we specialize in producing justice. If you or a loved one in the Atlanta metro area is facing serious criminal charges, then you need serious legal representation.
The Okoli Law Group is here for you. The Okoli Law Group is here for us.
The Okoli Law Group, serious legal representation.
Are you looking for a high-quality education provider? Are you looking for an educational institution that is 100% focused on Black history? Well, you have come to the right place. At AE Learning, we provide exceptional African history education, training, resources and courses to an international customer base. At AE Learning, our e-learning courses deliver high-quality content and support teachers and students alike, ensuring that they have what they need to achieve their learning goals. Go to aelearning.net to select from our comprehensive library of multimedia e-learning courses. Our courses come complete with tutorials from our African history teachers. Within our e-learning courses, you will also benefit from high-quality videos to assist in your learning. Throughout our courses, quizzes and examinations are provided so you can test your knowledge. A generous library of downloadable resources complements your learning, and in addition, there are materials to read through. Go to aelearning.net to learn more. AE Learning, your source for quality African history education.
Sorry about that. Peace, fam. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. Alan, I didn't say that. I'm not against him. I'm just reading. I'm going to read an article because there's a lot of misinformation. Now, I don't want to say misinformation, but a lot of, I don't want to say scams. Like, for example, there's a Beyonce AI song that's celebrating General Traore, and people really think this is a song from Beyonce. So there's a lot of fake stuff out there in regards to Ibrahim Traoré that a lot of people are passing off as it being authentic and real, and it's not. But we're going to cover that here in a second. And then, as always, I always like the propaganda. There we go. Well, fake. Well, there's positive propaganda and there's fake propaganda. So there's a lot of fake propaganda, misinformation. There we go. Misinformation, fake information, misinformation out there when it comes to General Traore, because that was the name of the article. But we'll get into that here in a second. Sierra Leone. Citizenship is back on for Sierra Leone. If you're interested in citizenship, right there, need to get a passport cover. For Sierra Leone, please visit donfo.africa, donfo.africa to learn more. Again, please visit donfo.africa to learn more. We are also rolling to Senegal into this month. Y'all, in 17 days, I will be on a Delta flight to Senegal for the Jazz Festival, and I'm taking a group with me. So I'm looking forward to that. So Senegal into this month, and we're going to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Again, Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Then we are rolling to Zanzibar in September. Again, Zanzibar in September hold on, let me read this comment. I am so proud of my FBA family for standing down and not wearing a cape for others and focusing on FBA family business. That's not the case. Now, I'm not sure of the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, if he's FBA or not. But I mean, he's bum rushing ICE. Again, he's bum rushing ICE, trying to, and got arrested, trying to free the illegal immigrants that are being deported by ICE. He bum rushed the ICE facility and got arrested. And it's a known fact that FBA leadership actually does more for other communities than they do the actual FBA community. So I got to disagree with you on that. So Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival, Zanzibar in September for Safari Blue, then Namibia and South Africa in November. I'm a piano and dunes, and then we are rolling back to Sierra Leone in December. So if you're interested in joining us, please visit donfo.africa. Again, please visit donfo.africa to learn more. Without further ado, I want to dive into this article. Ibrahim Traoré inside the digital cult glorifying Burkina Faso's military leader. This is coming from the africareport.com. And as I mentioned earlier, there's been a lot of misinformation in fake AI generated pictures and Beyonce videos that are being put out there, and people are like arguing and trying to pass it off as real. No, Beyonce did not make a song celebrating Ibrahim Traoré. Again, no, Beyonce did not make a song celebrating Ibrahim Traoré. It's fake. And the AI is so good these days that people can't tell the difference between what's real and what's fake. But let's dive into this article. Ibrahim Traoré. Ibrahim Traoré inside the digital cult glorifying Burkina Faso's military leader by Sheriff Bojang Jr. And as insurgency intensifies and civic space shrinks in the West African state, a different kind of battle is unfolding online where AI-generated images, deepfake anthems, and algorithmic fervor have turned the young military leader into a digital messiah. The face of Captain Ibrahim Traoré has been beaming across social media feeds throughout West Africa, and from posters and placards hoisted in the streets of Burkina Faso's capital of we're gonna get this. Ouagadougou, London and beyond. His image appears in various forms. Sometimes he seems stoic in military fatigues, other times draped in Pan-African flags. Hold on, what's this? And Pan-African flags are depicted as divine warrior glowing with celestial light. In dozens of viral TikTok edits, Traoré leads imaginary armies, topples Western empires, and is hailed as the new Thomas Sankara. The captions, bold and uncompromising, include Africa's Messiah, the people's captain, and France must fall. The images, curated, multiplied, and mythologized, are now central to a rapidly evolving online movement that fuses anti-imperialism, youth frustration, and Pan-African aspiration. The main concern: many of the images used and shared across social media and the internet aren't real. They are machine-generated hallucinations, the product of AI tools, manipulated audio, and filters that feed an online ecosystem of adoration. The pro-Traoré social media buzz took off following a protest in Ouagadougou, hopefully I'm saying that right, on April 30th, when tens of thousands rallied in a massive show. Yeah, so there's been there's an Instagram post, a video or picture of an alleged protest in France. You know, a hands-off Traoré of France that is And if you look at the image, it's blocks, city blocks, and the streets are filled of just people for blocks and blocks and blocks. And, you know, people are passing this image along as if that's a real protest. And it's not. It was from a previous protest. I forgot what I think when they were protesting Macron or something, the current president. That's where that protest, the footage, that is where that protest footage originated from, not from Traore, the hands off Traore protest. But people were passing this on, you know, sharing this on social media as if it was authentic and real, but it's not. Okay. In Nigeria, 2 demonstrators were charged with inciting public disturbance and conducting an unauthorized assembly for organizing a procession in honor of Traore. But the online AI-generated images depicted fictional demonstrations in Nairobi, Harare, Kampala, and even New York's Times Square, deepfake audio tracks mimicking the voices of global pop stars like Rihanna and Beyonce, singing praises of Traore, circulated widely, blurring the line between digital propaganda and fan-driven myth-making. Yeah, I've been raining all day here in Atlanta. And there was an earthquake, too. I didn't feel it, but yeah, it's been raining all day here in Atlanta. From social media feed to frontline, Traore seized power in September 2022 amid escalating jihadist violence and mounting public anger at French influence in Burkina Faso. He has since styled himself as a revolutionary anti-imperialist, cutting ties with France, aligning more closely with Russia, vowing to restore sovereignty in a country plagued by insurgency. The political moment is fueled by a feeling that Africa has been taken advantage of by foreign powers too long. Traore successfully cultivated an anti-colonial stance that speaks directly to a generation disillusioned by neoliberal promises and post-independence elites. Political risk analyst Jessica Moody sees Traore's rise as part of a broader reckoning with decades of foreign exploitation. This political moment is fueled by a feeling that Africa has been taken advantage of by foreign powers for too long. She says there is an upsurge in resource nationalism and a desire to make Africa great again, to regain sovereignty and develop the continent from within. According to Moody, France remains the primary symbol of neocolonial frustration. This is based on decades of companies and countries, especially France, profiting from African economies with little regard for sentiment on the ground. The frustration has been epitomized, there we go, by Emmanuel Macron's presidency, in which he has fundamentally failed to understand how the French are perceived in West Africa. More rhetoric, less reform. Much of Traore's appeal rests on rhetoric and non-institutional reform, but has not slowed its meteoric rise on social platforms. It's algorithmic populism, emotional, visual, anti-Western, and hyper-shareable. There has been a sustained sense of support for Traore, says security analyst Beverly Oching. As a young leader and powerful orator, he resonates with many who are increasingly questioning the relationship between African countries, especially in the Sahel and the West. He speaks directly to a generation navigating the legacies of imperialism, post-colonialism, and neocolonialism. In the digital age, Oching says that support feels even more amplified thanks to social media. It appears global and widespread. You see it in the rhetoric of Tanzanian opposition leaders, among Kenyan officials, South African youth groups, and even in personal encounters. There's algorithmic populism, emotional, visual, anti-Western, and hyper-shareable, says Burkina Faso researcher Aladou Warem. It's about vibe and vision and not fact or policy. Social media platforms reward spectacle, and Traore's image fits perfectly into that ecosystem. Digital repression by proxy. Pro-Traore internet and social media wars seem to stop at nothing to build and defend the image of a man who in reality leads a fragile transitional government in one of the world's most unstable regions. His rhetoric still falls short of real measurable improvements in security and civic freedoms. The glorification comes with a cost, one increasingly paid by Burkina Faso journalists, activists, and ordinary citizens who raise critical questions about Traore's rule. We are witnessing the rise of a digitally sanctified ruler where criticism becomes sacrilege, says Rural. Despite his populist appeal, tangible reforms under Traore's leadership remain limited. Here we go. While he has implemented measures such as reducing ministerial salaries and increasing civil servant wages, the broader challenges of security and governance persist. The ongoing jihadist insurgency has displaced over 2 million people, and much of the country remains outside state control. Journalists in Burkina Faso are increasingly subjected to online abuse for being critical of Traore and his junta. This, according to rights groups, reflects a broader pattern of intimidation and censorship under the country's military-led government. However, this isn't merely social media toxicity. Analysts and activists warn it's a new form of digitally outsourced repression, where the state may not have to censor because online mobs do it for them. Traore's popularity has crowded out dissenting voices, says Oching. His rhetoric still falls short of real, measurable improvements in security and civic freedoms. There is a gap between his message and the reality on the ground, something that will ultimately test his legitimacy and legacy. Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat room. If you want to call in and add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. And some of the arguments that are made in this article are the arguments that Brand has been making. But we still have to give the brother a shot. Him definitely being in power is much more. I would rather see him in power than the previous president in power that took out Thomas Sankara. So he's still definitely a step up from Blaise, I think his name was, the previous president. All right, go ahead, Elvis.
All right, Dennis, thank you. Look, I mean, when it comes to AI, right, that's the thing. You hit the nail on the head. Because some people, like Kala, our very own Kala, was talking about how Rihanna made a song about Traore. Yeah. We were trying to tell him it's not true. He's like, nah, it's for real. So you can easily be fooled by it. There's an AI channel called for AI for the Culture on YouTube. And when you listen to their music, you will swear that it was out of the 70s and 80s, man. It sounds so real. But It's just somebody bullshitting and making songs that sounds super real. But the thing is, like you said, Brandon has been right on this issue. He can be abrasive in his criticism and his summations, but I think being critical of Traore is not indicative that we're against him. You know, as Africans, we understand that most African leaders have to almost rule with an iron hand in that the coups are always around the corner. So you always have to kind of be a little more strong-handed on how you rule your people. But I think a lot of people really like him because he kicked out the French. That's his biggest achievement with most of the diaspora is that he kicked out the French. You know, less so with the U.S., but France has been a thorn in the side of West Africa and has kind of stifled development in that region. So a lot of people like him for that. But then when you ask Burkinabés, like our brother St. James, who comes up here frequently, what are some tangible changes, improvement he's made to the people's lives? He can't really articulate it. The biggest thing for them is that, well, he's trying to get the country under control. There's jihadis in like 30% of the country or 40% of the country, and he's focusing on that. And after that, then he can really govern. It's not enough. Again, we're not Burkinabés. We're not part of that country. So we can't cry more than the bereaved. But the reality is, with the amount of propaganda that's being spread online, we just haven't seen the change to correlate with those propaganda. So we're not stupid. We have brains, and we can think for ourselves. Nobody is going to cajole us into thinking that into a echo chamber thinking that, okay, if you criticize him, you must be a CIA agent, or you must be anti-African. We're not. This is an intellectual platform. We have a lot of smart people who come up here. We're not just going to do a group think where everybody think the same, and if you stray from it, then you are some kind of enemy. So I like the discussion. I want to hear others. So I'll just pass the mic.
Guys, make sure you hit that like button as well as you come to the chat room again. Please hit that like button. Go ahead, woman.
I'm going to start off really quickly. I want to say that that article that you just read, I like that Elvis, of all people, mentioned scrutinizing and being critical, because the article that you just read is written by a magazine. Yeah, it's called the Africa Report, but it's based out of France. The publisher is a white woman, and the editor-in-chief is a white man. And from the research that I've done so far since I saw you reading that article, it seems like most of the staff that writes for that magazine, or the people that's listed online that I was able to verify, are white people. So that right there tells you that there's a motive of why a white French magazine would want to say what it's saying about Traore. Now, obviously, with everything that happens in the world today, AI is involved. People make all kind of AI music all the time. There's so much AI about President Trump in the United States right now. It's not even funny. Probably more of Trump than there is of Traore.
I agree.
It's exactly. So it's not that it's just limited to him. AI is a big new thing. The people who know how to make those images and do whatever, as Elvis mentioned, they have their little YouTube pages and their Instagram pages. And so people who have certain areas that they like, they create AI videos and images and stuff like that, geared towards that. There's someone on YouTube that makes these really futuristic looking animals with AI. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a cult. It's just someone that likes to do that type of stuff. That's that person's area of interest. And so they create images and videos, whatever, based on that. The reality is that Traore is doing a lot for Burkina Faso. He's building roads, which is building the infrastructure. He built, I was just watching that Wode Maya was in Burkina Faso. So it's not just one tomato processing plant. There's two that are currently built, and there's a third one that's going to be built and be completed by the end of this year, is what the gentleman said. He's also building miles and miles and miles of roads in Burkina Faso. As we talked about before, there was a village that was overrun, or that was the people in that village were, displaced by the jihadists. They were able to return. He's not just, when Elvis said that we're not able to talk about specific things that he's doing, we talk about them all the time, but you guys dismiss them. Everyone that's spoken in favor of Traore on this platform that I've heard of have been able to name specific things that are being done. And we're not just talking out our behinds on this. People who are actually going to Burkina Faso, other YouTubers, smaller YouTubers, not just Wode Maya, are talking to the people who are on the ground there, and they're also repeating these things and talking these things. So everything is not just faked by AI. AI is a small part of it.
I got
feedback. No, that's from you, woman. That's from you, actually. No. So what we're saying, like me and Elvis were saying, the AI songs, Beyonce and Rihanna, you have a lot of people passing these songs around as if they are real songs from Beyonce and Rihanna.
Yeah, but
I was just gonna say, like I was trying to say about the gentleman that makes all of the AI animals. I actually subscribe to his page because I think they're so cool. It's just an area of interest that someone has, and they create whatever videos or music based on that. To me, it's not like it's a concerted effort to fool everyone into thinking that Traore is some mystical creature come from the heavens to save Africa. You know what I mean? There might be some people who can't distinguish, well, this is AI versus this is, really Beyonce or Rihanna singing. But I think the general population and especially those of us who are following what's happening in Burkina Faso and are aware of what's going on, most of us can distinguish that this is just AI what do you call it?
You got feedback. Like Elvis said, we have a mutual friend who's on here all the time that really thinks the song by Rihanna is real. I don't know.
Well, I don't know what to say about that, but I think most people can understand. I saw someone reading a letter that said it was from Usain Bolt to President Traore. And at first I was like, wait a minute, let me Google that quickly. And I couldn't find any verification of it. So I said, this must be some other, nonsense that's going on. But I think overall, he is doing a good job. And I think people are fans of what he's doing. And to me, there's no harm in people expressing that through, some of the AI music.
Okay. Go ahead, Wildflower. Not the Wildflower.
Hi everyone. Yeah, so I actually think this is it's just playing the game that they play a lot of the time. We've always been inundated with American propaganda, Western propaganda, European propaganda through the news channels, and their propaganda was always anti-Black, anti-African. So they even write in their books, which are all pretty much anti-us. So they've been playing this propaganda game a long time. Yeah, and I just think it's time that we also turned around. Yes, you can see the music videos are fake and people coming up with random storylines because they're fans. They love what he's doing and they're jealous that we're actually playing the game they play really well. Yeah, if we're gonna do they do propaganda all the time. You have Chinese propaganda, Iranian propaganda, American propaganda. What is wrong with us doing the game they play to get an upper one of them? Yes, the Paris thing, it was fake, you can tell, but people were spreading it. But it's like some people have no discernment skills that you can't tell. I see these AI videos a lot of the time. You can tell it's fake. But it's harmless fun because it's generating interest. So people actually go and see, who is this guy? He's taking over the algorithm. I don't understand why people are hating. He is doing things on the ground. Go and watch Wademaya's video. He was there. And I just feel like these little journalists in Africa that are scraping to get by, they're getting paid by these fake NGOs from Western countries. We also need to look at that. And that article you read, that is propaganda from them. Yeah, that is propaganda by a little French thing that's masquerading as African report. You need to look at a lot of these African journalists that are dirt poor are getting paid $300 to write articles about people in Africa that are trying to make a difference, to write negative. And it's always the Judases in our community, the betrayers in the Black race. They're always everywhere. I really hate them people. I'm telling you, I don't wish good on them. Because these are the people that go against our race. We have so many of them. Yeah, we haven't gotten far in life because we have betrayers. We have mothers and fathers that raise Black coons, Africans. You never see the white man going against another white man on the to benefit our race. They never do that to each other. They're always on code. But there's so many of us, you just have to say the price. And it's harmless propaganda. So you know what? We got to play their game. End of.
Go ahead, Delroy.
Ma'am, why did you stole almost everything I was about to say? Did you hear me? What's her name?
This a
Wildflower.
great mind thinker like. This
Hi,
a great mind
Delroy.
thinker like. That's
How
right.
you doing? You stole almost everything I have to say. Now I'm
So
going to
you
think
can
of something
repeat
else.
it.
Yes, you stole everything. First of all, I love it. I know it's fake. I love it. I wish you could have more. I hope we have more. I wish I knew how to do it. Okay, I'll put my own propaganda out. Okay, Elvis, let me ask you a question. What type of achievement you want to see in Burkina Faso and Africa altogether? Elvis, just
Well,
ask you a question.
okay, yeah, tangible improvement on the lives of the citizens, right? One of the things is freedom of expressions for the African citizens, journalistic freedom. A lot of journalists has been, taken to the front lines, and some of them have even died. Freedom of the press, like Cuddy, who's in Burkina Faso. I mean, there's a widespread uh, notion that you shouldn't be filming in the country. Like if you're a foreigner, especially, or even if you're a citizen, and you're caught filming things that's going on around the country, you can get arrested for it. So the brother himself has said he can't go out there and film anything. You have to remember, Delroy, this is a military regime. I've lived under a military regime in Africa. A lot of us who come to the West, we tend to forget. And again, like I say, I try to be empathetic to the brother because I realize that Africans, when you're ruling them, there's always a coup. You're like a one step away from a coup. So most African leaders are kind of ruling with a heavy hand. So I'm saying it's not as free as we like to think. He's liberated them from France, but now the people who he's ruling over themselves are not as free as they would like to be. So the journalists are speaking against it. They're saying there's some propaganda that's coming out in terms of what's going on in the country. And the brother from Burkina Faso, St. James, who's here regularly, we talked extensively. We spent me and him and I. We spent like 3 or 4 hours on the phone talking, and he told me that he has a 5-year term before he has to transition into a civilian rulership. But the main thing he's focusing on is not really the development of the country in particular, but trying to get the country under control from the jihadists who have a large swath of the country's land.
Okay, so you would agree that he's trying to work, him and his government is trying to work in two things at the same time, trying to develop the country and trying to get the country, the part that still have terrorists running around there, backed by France and America. So he's trying to do 2-3 things at the same time. Now you know that's a extremely hard task, right? So what I'm saying is, why don't you give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Why are you saying that there is nothing tangible he's doing besides kicking France out? Have you not seen and read what he's doing? Do you know who Dr. Arikana is?
Yes, I'm aware of her.
Right. So she's been there, right? She spoke with him, right? She spoke with the government and other people. You can't, for 200 years, you're trying to have things change that's been going on for so long in 2-3 years. That shit is gonna take a long time, right? And people, my government here in the United States, European governments, they're at his throat every goddamn minute. I have friends that used to be stationed in Africa. Their duty, right? Their duty is to destabilize Africa, not to help them grow. To destabilize Africa. That was their duty. Okay? This brother is inspiring other leaders around Africa, other governments around Africa, and they don't want that. They do not want that. They did the same thing here in the United States. You see what I'm saying? They did the same thing to black people here in the United States. If you're trying to rise up, they will take your effing ass out, or they will create the same propaganda. They will create the propaganda, right, to destabilize your community. They bring drugs in. They bring guns in. I know down in South say, "Oh, nobody told you to take the drugs. Nobody don't have to tell you to take it, but you create the condition for you to take it. They create the condition for you to have gangs and all that shit in your neighborhood. It's all created. People sit around the table and create these conditions, and that's what's happening to Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali right now. You see what I'm saying? They will not. One thing I got to say about white people: they do not give up. They're like the Terminator until you stop them. They will not stop until they get what they want. You have to be just as determined. And that's what Traore is doing. You see what I'm saying? That's what he's doing. Okay? That's what he's doing. And people have to understand that this shit is hard. It's going to take time, right? And they know they're after them. They're after him to take his ass out. You see what I'm saying? They're after him. And this is what black people have to understand. This shit is not going to be easy. The people are not going to get what they want right away. It's going to take time. And the people them are willing to wait and work with them. Do you know the people raised $53 million in 3 months? 53, this is money they take out of their poor pockets for the cause. You see what I'm saying? They raised it. This is what's going on. The people that are behind him, people around the world is behind him, and the so-called propaganda that this cracker ass paper is writing about. Is writing about. This is one of the best things that ever happened.
Can I ask you a question, if you permit me, real quick?
Yeah.
What is your main source of information when it comes to Burkina Faso?
Everybody else main source. You just don't. Dr. Clark said, right? Malcolm X said. Malcolm X read the white newspaper back in the day. You always use information, and you read information, and you gather information. Use your own talent, your own intelligence, and you try to figure out what's right and what's wrong. For people who believe that this AI shit is for real, I can't help them. Nobody could help them. You see what I'm saying? But
No, no, I'm
you
asking you, Delroy, because you're a smart guy. I know you're on these different platforms and you're online and you gather news and information to inform
but
yourself.
that's all you can do.
What are your
You have to gather
sources?
news around the place. You have to gather different news around the place. Different YouTubers that are actually in Burkina Faso, like the African Stream, right? You have to gather it and put it together and use your own goddamn
Discernment.
intelligence. You see what I'm
Discernment.
saying? Look what they're doing. Look what they're doing. And you see what I'm saying? You have to use that. You have to use your intelligence. You got to separate what you believe is real and what you believe is fake, and try to back it up by other things. You just don't use one thing like that. You don't.
So
You
do
see
you,
what I'm saying?
like the reason Don brought this topic up is because a lot of people are being fooled by fake information, like you said, misinformation or propaganda, deliberately or inadvertently, right? A lot of people see these things and it looks fantastical. They think this is great, and these are AI generated images, these are AI generated videos, and they tend to believe it. So the key
Yeah,
here
yeah,
is
yeah,
how do you get these people to believe the
separate
real
what
information rather than the propaganda? That's the
bruh,
question.
then you listen to people that was there before even Ibrahim Traoré was there, right? And like I said, you gather information and you use your intelligence. So you're not on the ground, so you gather information and use your intelligence. The other brother that African American brother that live in Burkina Faso, could you say, okay, well, he's lying, but he lived there.
No,
You see
that's
what
what
I'm
I was
saying?
telling you.
There's
I gave
also
you an
other
example.
countries
Cuddy.
around that are reporting
Yeah,
news. I mean,
Cuddy
there are
said he can't go out
countries
there and
that are
videotape
spreading
anything
news.
because you're not
Well,
allowed to do that.
well. Guess what,
That's
man? So
why.
sometimes that's have to happen. Sometimes that you think you could videotape everything here in America? Do you think, right? You know that you think you could videotape everything here
I
in
can go
America?
outside on my street
Yeah,
right
you
now and
can't.
videotape.
Even
You
here,
can't really
you
do that in
can't go
Burkina
around start
Faso.
videotaping
No. You could
things.
do that in Burkina Faso.
Hey,
You
somebody,
could do that in Burkina Faso.
one minute
But
after
me and Elvis is talking. Elvis, you could do that in Burkina Faso. How the hell those YouTubers go there and videotape,
Because they have special
right?
permission. The brother Cuddy, who is an expat living in Burkina Faso, who comes on the platform often, I think it was Brandon who was challenging him, even myself.
There's a sister from Ghana.
May,
She's a
may
nobody.
I
She's a
speak,
One
nobody
second.
YouTuber.
We
Hey,
asked
hold
him
on a
and he
second.
said he's
Hold on
not
a
going to
second.
do that because he could get in
Hold on.
trouble for doing it.
Okay,
And
hold on a
that's what
second.
happened in military regimes.
Bruh,
Let Delway finish. Delway, you got 30 seconds. I got to pass the
Okay,
mic.
hold on a second. There's a sister from Ghana. She's a nobody YouTuber. She was there. She made several videos in Burkina Faso. She had no permission. She's a nobody. She got like 2,000, 3,000 subscribers. So I don't understand what you're saying. Elvis, you're African. You're Liberian. You live right down the road. Why don't you go there and see for yourself?
See for myself what's going on in Burkina Faso.
Yes, fly there, see for yourself.
Everything you said is right, except one thing. I'm also an American, right? And there's an American travel advisory to Burkina Faso right now in
Oh,
place.
Elvis, come on,
Oh,
man. No,
Elvis,
man.
stop,
Come
There's
on,
stop,
one
man.
in
Elvis.
Ghana
Come
No.
as
on now.
well.
If something happens to you, right? If something happens
Stop.
to you, there it's your fault because there's a travel advisory. If
Elvis,
there's a coup, if you go in there and
oh, Elvis, come on.
the
They
jihadists
say that's
take
how
over the
you
town
feel
and kill
anyway.
you, that's
Stop,
your
bro.
fault.
You
You
ain't
have
gotta
to
go
listen
there.
to travel advisory, brother.
You don't have to
Donnie,
go
I'm
there.
sure you don't travel to northern Nigeria. You know there's a travel advisory
I
there.
could take
You might want to go there and see how
Elvis,
things are, but you're smart enough not to.
Elvis. I could take you someplace right now that if you don't go in there with me, your ass might be taken out right here in the U.S.
What?
You just heard what I said.
I didn't understand it. I heard it, but I didn't understand it.
Oh, see, you don't know. See, I was born here, bro. I came here so long.
Let
I
me
could
pass
take
the
you
mic.
right here in the United States right now, and if you don't go in that place with me, you may not come back out,
All right,
or you may come back out with nothing in your pocket.
guys, I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead, Kwame. Go ahead, Kwame.
Hey, peace, Dynasty, and peace to the panel. It's very interesting that people want to criticize Ibrahim Traoré. I never hear people criticize Fox News with the Republicans on their propaganda, or CNN with the Democrats on their propaganda. And I'm wondering, is Ibrahim Traoré paying Jamaican Gleamer to document the protest that's going on in Jamaica? Is Ibrahim paying the people that's protesting in the Bahamas, Trinidad, and all these other countries that's going out in the street and protesting. And as far as propaganda, Motor just went to Burkina Faso and documented everything that people said was fake. They said that he didn't have infrastructure, he didn't have any industries starting up. He documented and spoke to the people in the tomato factory. He went to the electric car company that people said was fake, and he documented the whole process. So I don't understand what people say. These are AI generated. We're talking about songs. Trump is putting out AI generated as itself as the Catholic Pope. I don't hear nobody talk about that. So it's very interesting that people is very critical of Ibrahim Traoré, and he just came to power within 2 to 3 years. And what was my other point? Yeah, it seemed like most of the critics that's attacking Ibrahim Traoré is the people that's the countries that's aligned with France, the Nigerians and Ivory Coast and these other countries that's aligned with with France and the West. So it's very interesting.
And our resident CIA agent, Elvis.
Okay.
Yeah. So I understand.
Thank you.
Let me pass the mic.
Can I just make one point? I'll just make one last point.
Go ahead.
It's very interesting that people are talking about AI generated songs and things that's not very important, and not talking about the tomato factories and electric car companies and the other industry that he's doing in the roads. And I lay my plane there.
Yeah. Go ahead, Guy. Unmute yourself, Guy. Guy, unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hello. Can you guys hear me, please?
Go ahead.
Yes. So good evening to everybody. I just wanted to come back to a couple of things I heard here. The guy who was speaking before Elvis, and there's also a lady who is calling Elvis a CIA agent. I had a question for them about what sources do they have that is allowing them to think that Burkinabés are living better in 2025 comparing to 2022. Please.
Are you talking to me?
To you and also
It was women and Delroy.
Let Delroy. Go ahead, Delroy.
Me. Did you listen to what I told Elvis?
Delroy or the lady. I listened to everything. You said that, so you called sources, you said YouTube videos. Okay. I don't think that's credible sources. That's why I'm asking you any other reliable source. Like where can I read that Burkinabés are living better today?
Did I say they living better? The people that are dirt poor.
Yes,
did I say they living better? I didn't say that.
You said that Traore. You said
I
that
did not
Traore
say
has
that.
done a lot of good.
I did not
to
say that.
People. So he improved the life of people there.
I did not say that.
Okay.
I said it's going to be hard. Okay. That's what I said. I said it's going to be hard. That's what I said. I said you can't change something overnight. Yeah, you go ahead. You can't change something overnight. Okay, that was done to you for over 100 years. Okay, it is hard, and he's trying to do 2, 3, 4, 5 things at one time. Not him and his government. You see what I'm saying? And not only him and his government, but the Niger government, the Mali government. It's hard. You're not going to change. It took 30, 40 years for China to get 100 million people out of poverty, right? And they were left alone. They did not allow anybody. They did not allow anybody. They did it on themselves. They didn't allow anybody. You see what I'm saying? Anybody interfere, they get rid of them. It's as simple as that. You see, they do not want Africa to develop, and that's it. They complain about my country, Jamaica. Okay? Why the Chinese are there? They're trying to get the Chinese are there. You live across the street. Why the fuck didn't you come down there? Why didn't you come down there? That's what I'm trying to say.
Delroy was his mic. It was his mic, Delroy. You gotta let me speak.
You see?
Sorry, can I ask you a question? You said that they don't want Africa to do better. Who is they?
Which is
who's they? America.
Come on,
America,
use
white
discernment
people.
skill.
What are you
The
talking about?
West. The
Where do you
West.
live, bro? Where do you live?
Can I
Where do you
speak?
live?
No, it's not. No, I got to pass the mic.
Me, I live. Me, I live in Abidjan. I live
Ivory
in
Coast, sir.
Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, and
Abidjan.
I'm saying that.
Hey, my foreign brother, welcome my brother,
Get off the
welcome.
mic, Frank. Get off the mic,
That's
Frank.
my foreign brother.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Get off the mic, Frank. Get off the mic, bro. Don't talk to me. Diners, switch the mic.
Now let me lay my.
Diners, move the mic. Move the mic.
But Elvis, all these African sellouts, where do they go? They go to Ivory Coast.
Oh, come on, Didas. Come on, Didas. He might be my Betsy brother, my Boile brother.
I'm not surprised.
My people in Ivory Coast.
You guys may be surprised. You guys may be surprised. I'm paid.
He might be a Burkina Faso. They're Burkina Faso in Ivory Coast.
Go ahead, guy.
No, I'm not originally from Burkina Faso. I'm from Côte d'Ivoire. And I heard somebody said that the sellout living here. Yes, I'm sold out. I'm sold out to France and the US, and I'm happy about that. So
yeah, we can tell.
Don't be upset. Yes, okay. My point.
Okay, so what?
My
So
point.
what is going on?
Let
him finish. Go ahead, guy.
Okay, thank you, Dynasty. Okay, because I'm not saying anything out of the ordinary. Sorry, because I have a personal cousin, who lives in Burkina Faso at the moment. He works at the bank in Ouagadougou, right? There are stuff that he cannot even say on WhatsApp. I'm sending money there for him and his family sometimes to be good. The situation in Burkina Faso has worsened. And I heard the point of the guy who spoke before me. Sorry, I couldn't remember his name. But he said that Traore has 5 jobs to do. But nobody asked him to come to power. So when he came to power, he asked for 6 months to boot the terrorists out of Burkina Faso. When he came to power, terrorists, according to ACLED, had access to 40% of the territory.
Well, who's
now,
funding
3
the
years
terrorists?
later, terrorists.
Let him finish. I'm trying to hear him. Go ahead.
Okay. And today we are in 2025 in May. According to the same source, ACLED, they are not French backed, they are not Swiss backed, they are not US backed. It's an independent source. Japan, Russia, China, a lot of scientists are working there, and they are saying that he's controlling only 30% of the country. When people have their relatives who passing away in villages, they cannot even go there because they don't have access to the roads. Like, that's what's happening there. And in my opinion, that's like I'm gonna land there. Sorry, because there's a lot of people on the live on the panel. In my opinion, instead of spending 500 million CFA francs per year for propaganda, he should use that to fund troops. He's just a captain in the army.
That he's using
He should go to fight.
What are your sources?
It's not me. It's not me once again. It's not me once again. I'm not just saying. There are sources. Even his government. It's not me. The sources I'm using sometimes is even the Burkina Faso government. They said last year in November.
Is he stopping the press or what? Because earlier y'all said that he's not allowing press.
Okay.
You guys are in America. This guy lives in Abidjan.
And even now, I can give you a list of 47 journalists that have been jailed in the past 6 months in Burkina Faso. Journalists working on TV stations, working in newspaper. And so journalists, judges, lawyers being in prison while the military is in power. To me, it doesn't sound right.
Okay, so
I'm gonna land there. I'm gonna land there. You guys know my point. Thank you very much.
Okay, guy, do me a favor. Guy, do me a favor. Can you put like a link in the private chat of your sources as far as the journalist goes, and then let me pass the IAS. Go ahead, IAS protection.
Yeah, thank you for.
I will do that. Thank you very much.
Okay, Dennis, thank you for having me. You see how these guys come? You see how these guys come on here and lie and just lie in our face like we some dumb people. If you go all the democratic country in Africa, for example, let me start with Kenya. Kenya, you can't just go around videotape anywhere in Kenya. You're gonna get arrested for that, or they're gonna take your camera from you. For example, my country in Sierra Leone, right, where Dennis frequent most of the time. He knows that. You can't even protest over there right now against the government over there, but he was elected to power, but you can protest against them. So you go to Nigeria, it's not even free over there. You see all these regimes over there. His country that he's talking about, Abidjan, Ivory Coast, you can't even protest over there. They don't even have the freedom. You go to Cameroon, you can't protest over there, but they have somebody he elected for. He's been there in power since over like 20 years now, or 30 or something like that more. But these people are all elected people, but they want to talk about Ibrahim Traoré. And also, I want to mention about something because most people here already mentioned about the stuff that I want to talk about. But I just watch Nafakati stream here on YouTube. They got right now, I don't know if it's New York Times or whatever. They got like a think tank over here in America on the news. They just attack all that Pan-African. They say Pan-African call just like this. The same subject we're talking about here, they just trying to bamboozle us about Ibrahim Traoré doing what he's doing. They call them cults. They said Pan-African cults on YouTube is all over Ibrahim Traoré's achievement, but you know, I mean, they're trying to lie about Ibrahim Traoré's achievement. They started to call Pan-Africans cults now because we're trying to support the guy. So all of these things are going on right now. So this is the reason why Africa is hard to move forward, because we got weak-minded people who just want to believe everything that the West want to say, and they don't have the fight in them, so they want to believe everything the West tell them and just attack their own people about development. How long has Ouattara been in power? Abidjan, you come out here and talk about Ibrahim Traoré. How long has Ouattara been in power? Isn't he under a coup, on what we call constitutional coup, because you changed the constitution for him to stay in power forever? So, but you got time here to talk about Ibrahim Traoré that just came to power and trying to do some movements. And you talking about terrorists. Terrorists been there forever since France has been there over 10 years. Terrorists was still going on, but you guys never came on here and say anything online. Since the guy took over, he's trying to fight the terrorists, trying to develop his country, but you guys out here trying to talk all that nonsense because you guys got hate for him. That's all I wanted to say for now. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Rokoya. Rokoya, mute yourself.
Greetings to the panel. How are you?
Oh, my bad. My bad, Rokoya. I didn't hold on, Rokoya. Hold on, Rokoya. My bad, Rokoya. Go ahead. I'm sorry about that. But
can you guys hear me?
Hear you now. Go ahead.
All right. Well, greetings to the panel. Obviously, I have a few things to say, but I like to center what I'm saying in this frame, so the people who are on the panel and others listen can really listen to ourselves. We as a people claim to be probably a little bit more informed about the situation in Africa because we are Pan-Africanist. We do a lot of, hopefully, reading outside YouTube videos about the situation in African countries. And yet we're so susceptible. I can't believe I'm hearing people echo propaganda on the internet, accusing this man of running some sort of aggrandization campaign using AI. And we actually have people who believe this. It makes me sick to my stomach because it looks to me like we don't have a clue. We're so easily swayed by what the internet and the powers that be and the people who are out there churning information put out on. It's simply so easy to confirm whether things that are happening in this country are true or false. You can go into newspapers, you can poll people from other countries. There are people in Nigeria who will give you narratives or editorials from their news. The people crossing the border. I'm sitting right here in Accra, Ghana, and the last time I told you there was issues of tomatoes shortage in Ghana because Burkina Faso was not able to allow transport of tomatoes and other things. But I also want to say something. We must be very careful who we listen to. There are people who come on our panels and people who claim to be Burkinabés or people from Ivory Coast or Ghana. In every situation, there are winners and losers who who are political elites, who lose their position or lose their power or lose their wealth, whatever the destabilization is, the people who come of words of, and they will swear and hate and say everything. And so when I listen to people who say in Burkina Faso things have gotten worse, I ask them, in comparison to what? How was it before? How has it changed in the words when people already in Burkina Faso were struggling with poverty, with lack of control of assets, lack of control of the economy? Actually, a country can only move into progress and move into wealth when we take away control of resources from a few, a politically empowered few people who are able, and this has happened all over West Africa. We know it. It's happened in Ghana many times. There's always a political class who are in cahoots with Western power, because for them, it's a way in which they perpetuate their own wealth, and it's the way in which they act as proxies for these countries, because there is no presence in our countries that will tell you there's France here, we're controlling this and that and this and that. They are always collaborators who allow these things to happen. And when these collaborators are unappended, then they have issue to accuse the government. Okay, so now let's go specifically to Burkina Faso. I'm not a Burkina Bay, but I've followed it. And like I said, I listen to the news in Ghana. I'm also very connected to people in Ghana government. That's why I never show my face. And I'm telling you that the discussions that are going on behind the scenes, the ECOWAS and all that, they're powerful things that are happening. And we as people who come on these things to comment, we need to avail ourselves of information. YouTube and the internet is not your source of actual accurate information. And so don't use those things to come here and try to sway people and use those as basis of either condemning this government or so. We don't know better than the Burkina Faso people. We don't know better than the African youth. There is a reason that the African youth are standing behind this guy. It's a Ghana and Burkina and Nigeria and all these countries. They have very distinct problems. They have distinct issues. But if their youth can still find a common ground and say we are supporting this, is because what he's doing resonates. And if what he's doing resonates, we talk about democracy. What is democracy? When somebody is actually responding to what the people want. It's not a ballot box, my people. What did the ballot box provide what is happening in Nigeria? The richest country on the continent, did they not vote Tinubu? Did they actually vote him? And where are the people today? What happened in Ghana? We voted a government that was voted out with a landslide defeat. What did they do? They were democracies. I saw these people living like they would never die. There was so much state capture that Ghana went from having access to people literally wanting to beg on the food. Because we have to understand, just because the man did not win an election does not mean he's not popular. And we need to stop using YouTube and social media and this. Haven't you learned anything? Isn't this the same pathway that these people used to destroy Nkrumah? First of all, they go into the media. They destroy your character. They destroy your personality. They learned how to do this in the first coup d'etat that they supported in Iran. Once they templated this behavior, that's what they do. If they want to take you out, they'll start this, and we should not be parrots of these types of nonsense. This man is just a visionary. There are people who come once in a lifetime. If he is doing so wrong, please prove it. He has. Is he gold production to his people? Yes.
Corey, let me. You got 30 seconds. I gotta pass the mic.
I'm going to land in 2 seconds. Okay. So what I'm saying is, please let's interrogate ourselves and our positions, and let's go and read. Stop using YouTube talking points and nonsense because we sound so foolish and we're supposed to know better. Thank you.
All right, let me pass it to
Give me
Paul.
30 seconds. I have to go back to work. Can I say something?
30 seconds. I got to pass this Paul Smith. Go ahead.
All right. I just want to say something. Harriet Tubman once said, if people knew that they were slaves, right? If they, what was the quote? So could somebody help me out? Anybody know the Harriet Tubman?
Go back to work, there.
She could have saved
saved
more
them,
people.
but some of them did not know they were slaves. She could have saved thousands.
Exactly, and that's still, unfortunately, what's going on right now. If people, you know what I'm saying, this is exactly what's going on right now. And all I'm
Addicted to the
saying,
plantation.
right? All I'm saying to black people is, right? Give this young brother and his government a chance. Also, the Niger government and the Mali government, right? Give them a chance. They mean well for their people, right? And they mean well for all African people across the world. Give them a chance. You see what I'm saying? I got over 15 members of my family that was either currently in the military, out of the military. I'm not even. We don't have time to repeat what they had to do in other countries that they go, supporting terrorists and all kind of shit. I can't say none of that on camera. You see what I'm saying? But give this brother a chance. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Good night, people.
Appreciate you. Go ahead, Paul Smith.
Thanks for having me on. I won't be on for long because I've got to go in about 5 or 10 minutes. So, the previous guy who was said he was a sellout. Can't remember his name. Is it Gorok?
Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
Yeah, he basically said that he got his information about Traore basically arresting journalists from Human Rights Watch who are, what can I say, unreliable to say the least. That's putting it politely. So don't trust anything he says. And plus, he actually supports what the West does. That also brings a sort of what can I say, a red light of danger. So I wouldn't trust him. But as we're saying, I mean, anything that any criticism that comes from anyone, check the sources first, because you don't know whether they're being paid by the West or their Western agents or whatever. Or
Dennis, after Chrissy, please let me respond.
No, I want to get through get to Chrissy next, and then I'll let you guys respond. Go ahead, Paul. You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Chrissy.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm just coming in quickly. For the people who are against what Ibrahim Traoré is doing, was it better before? That's what I'm trying to understand. When Burkina Faso was rated as one of the poorest nations on the planet, right? Yeah. Where there was child marriage, where there was majority of the minerals were going to France, pennies on the dollar, when France was producing their currency, when they didn't have any autonomy, when they didn't have access and control over their resources. Was Burkina Faso better? That's what I want to know. And for those, sometimes I wonder, I don't know if it's a gene, if it's genetic for some people, but it's almost as if like you care more about the white man's children than you care about your own. We have to build a foundation. And right now, in different parts of Africa, there are children who are dying of dirty water diarrhea. You understand? The white man children is not dying of diarrhea. The white man children they get fat, they live a good life. And some of our children are struggling. Some of our children have to work. They don't go to school. They're in mines. My God, don't you care about your own people? You see how the white man love his pitney them? We need to love our kids the same way and build a foundation. So all who sit on their behind and don't do jack shit for their people, but complain and talk, you're worse than the devil himself. Give the man a chance. He's not Jesus Christ. He does not walk on water. He's a human being. And he's building a infrastructure. He has done many things that anybody who can read and write can see and can read that he has done. That makes sense to anybody who has sense. When you go China, you cannot start a business in China without 50% ownership of a Chinese person. You cannot go to China and control their whatever little resources that they have. Their people have to be involved. You cannot go to China, call yourself journalist, because what when USAID got cut off, what we all see? Oh, it came out. All the journalists around the world who are being paid by USAID. Now, why would the US government be paying journalists in foreign countries to create the destabilization? And they know when it comes to us, they don't have to look far when it comes to a trader, because some of us, the white man ice is colder. We want to make sure the white man's children are nice and comfortable while ours are suffering and dying. We don't give a hoot. This is sickness. And it have to stop. And I think we're at the point now. You see how Haiti did them traitor them? Yes. So we have to move, because some of you we will still be at the bottom 500 years from now, because every time we get a little chance, y'all come and y'all mow the lawn of the dream, mow the lawn of the vision. Now, if the man is doing something wrong, fine. I don't blame him for jailing the journalists, or so-called journalists, because if you're spreading this information, if you're working for France and the United States, you have to go. China, how much people in Africa right now would break their foot to get a visa to go China? You think you can go China, go write anything? Right now in the US, they're jailing students on campus who are supposedly have freedom of speech, right? So nations have their rules where they decide that you cannot bring in dissent, destabilize, and brainwash their people against their agenda. Burkina Faso have an agenda for their people, and they have a right to. And they don't have to be a servant to the France and the US for eternity. We don't want that for our people. Those of us who love ourselves, we don't want that. So we're moving forward. Now, unless you have something to contribute, be quiet. That's all I have to say.
All right, let me pass it to go ahead, Schneider. Unmute yourself, Schneider.
Yes, thank you, Dennis. In fact, one thing that baffles me is the fact that a lot of Africans have not yet grasped the magnitude of what is going on in Africa, especially with the 14 French colonies. I was baffled when I heard the guy from Ivory Coast, what he said about Burkina Faso. Like one other panelist asked, what was he comparing as the word better to? Like he said, the people have gotten was worse from what? Burkina Faso gained independence. It's been 60 years since they got independence. They could only boast for 5,000 kilometers of tarred road. Can you believe that? That means he even stated that people could not go to their village because there was no road. So I don't understand. Is he blaming that to the Captain Traore, or what? In fact, it was unbelievable. In fact, even if at this point, when we know that they have kicked out the French military, France still control most of Burkina Faso's economy, because the Bank of Paris still controls the money. A country without their own central bank or that can print their own money is still a slave to who owns the money. That means to say, even their raw materials will still have to go through the world market, through the French CFA, because they do not own a central bank. They do not own their own money. France is still in control. They have not yet kicked out France fully. Under the French rule in Africa, France never left Africa. The other countries partially left, but France never left Africa. You remember that before France granted what the so-called independence to the French colonies, she has to force them to sign the cooperation agreement of 1958. So even up to today, these countries are still bound by that agreement. In fact, you could see what they did to Sekou Touré in Guinea. When he refused to sign the agreement, they destroyed the whole of Guinea before they left. And then Lansana Conte later came back and went and signed that agreement and brought Guinea back under the French control. So the point is, these countries are still under French policy. Every raw material that they produce, especially, maybe you can say maybe they say a little bit different now with Burkina Faso, Mali, and the other one, Niger. But the rest of the other 13 countries, 11 countries are still under French rule. Their raw materials are, France has the first rights to those materials. They cannot sell their products in the world market. They have to go through France. And when France sells that raw materials in the world market, France will take that, what they call the foreign exchange, and put them, their foreign reserve, and put them in the French bank. They're only allowed about half of that money, maybe about 50% of that money, for them to be used for their own development. But if they go back to collect any further amount of that money that is stored in the French bank, they have to take it as a loan and pay interest to the French. They have no country can come and develop their country or sign a contract to develop a country or to exploit raw materials without the approval of France, because these countries are still bound to France. They have no authority over their economy. About 50-60% of the economy is still owned by the banks. Everything, their money, they have no control. Even to print money, even coins, they cannot print nothing, absolutely nothing. They are still subject to the French rule. So anybody who is sitting here thinking that there's some kind of independence, particularly in these French countries in Africa, the person is delusional. These countries are still slaves. And that's why if you look at Africa, if you look at in comparison to the countries that are not French countries, the countries that are not French countries are far developed than those who are French countries. Those French countries are still living in bondage. So I don't understand when people are coming here to say, the guys say, oh, I'm a slave to France. No. For example, look at dictators in Africa. Look at the guy from Ivory Coast in particular. Alassane Ouattara is planning to run for the 4th time. And he's not complaining about it because he is a puppet. So as long as the puppet can give the colonialists whatever they want, they can run even 100 times, they have no problem. We saw in Gabon, one family ruled for more than 56 years. They had no problem about it. You see in Cameroon, the president has ruled for more than 42 years in power. Before that, he was a prime minister for about 7 years. We are talking almost 50 years in power. They have no problem about it. Look at Sassou Nguesso.
Dennis, please let me respond after him.
Well, no. Actually, I'm gonna pass it to the guy so you can respond, and I'll pass it to you, Elvis. Go ahead, Schneider. You got 30 seconds, Schneider.
Yeah, you have Sassou Nguesso of Congo. He's been there forever. They have no problem about it, as long as you give them what they want.
That's the democracy.
Yeah, that's a democracy. It's a sham. It's a sham. What they are using that to keep their puppet in power, to give a semblance of democracy. We saw in Nigeria, the election was stolen outright. In fact, it was on TV. It was outright robbery. But it is fine. Look at in Gabon, the military junta, they never criticized him because he's still aligned with it. He never did anything against France. Now he has transited from a sham election into a so-called democracy. He's going to be there for another 20 or 30 years. They'll have no problem with it. But as soon as you come out and say, no, this is wrong, oh yes, that is when they have problem with you. You see, we have to wake up. All this is nonsense. Look at all this.
I gotta pass.
And their black collaborators don't mind either.
Go ahead, Guy. I'll let you respond, Guy. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dinas. Thank you so much. Okay, where should I start? About the money not being controlled by France. That's a lie. The name of the currency we're using is called CFA francs. But what is the name of the currency, please?
It's called SAFA. It's SAFA.
SAFA, yes. CFA francs. SAFA. France CFA. CFA francs. I'm saying the same thing. Hold on. Okay. The only.
What CFA means? What
Hey,
does it mean?
Schneider. Let him talk. Go ahead.
CFA is Communauté Financière Africaine. African Financial Community.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay.
And it's backed by France. It's backed by the French Central Bank. So same difference.
Let the gentleman speak. You're not living in Cote d'Ivoire.
No, we have to correct him. He's going to start lying.
Okay. If you say that I'm lying, I'm going to ask you to provide a link that says that what I'm saying is a lie. And I can guarantee you cannot. Okay.
I can.
You are saying that the currency we are using is backed by France. Is that correct?
Yes, you have a central bank.
That's what I
I
heard.
You have a
said
central
so,
bank in
and it
Ivory
is
Coast.
true. The
Okay,
CFA
fine. Let him continue,
Okay.
please.
No,
Let him
he
speak.
has a question. He
Right,
has a
he needs to
question.
hurry up because I need to add my.
Okay. Our currency is not backed by France. I'm gonna tell you what
Oh
you
no,
guys
that's a lie. That's a lie. Daniel, you have
you
to
guys
stop
are
him. You have to stop
misunderstanding.
him.
No,
Daniel, you have
hold
to
on.
stop him.
Let the man speak,
Let
man.
me please. I heard you for about an hour saying a lot of stuff that are unverifiable. We have the central bank is comprised of all the ministers of all the countries in the area. Number one. So there's no white man in that bank, and there hasn't been a white man in that bank since 2003. You can check that sources. You can check the sources. You can see it on Sputnik. Sputnik is Russian. You can see it on Anna. Anna is Japanese. I'm not gonna use. I'm not gonna use.
I need to interject. The CFA is printed out of France, like everybody knows.
Okay. The CFA is printed out of France as well as 142 others currency.
Right.
You didn't know.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
That's the
Okay.
problem.
No, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you why right now. Even Libya used to print his money in the UK. They used to print their money in France because we do not have the technology to build.
No, you are mixing apples and oranges. That is different.
Let him speak. Let him
Can you
speak.
help
Let
me
him speak,
print
bro.
this
We're
money
quiet
for
during
me?
your time.
France
Let him speak.
Go ahead, guy.
Okay. So we don't have the technology. That's the end of the end of it. Plus, second thing, the CFA francs, in my opinion, right? You guys may disagree, is the best thing, the best Pan-African thing that ever happened because it forces us to do business with other
Each other.
neighboring countries. Number one, and number two, this currency is well liked by neighboring countries who do not have CFA francs. I was in Ghana last December for business. I'm dealing with cashew nuts and cocoa beans. My suppliers refuse to be paid in cedis. I'm not lying. The lady from Ghana can tell you it's the truth. In Nigeria, the reason why we stopped sharing our money with the central Cameroon, Gabon, and those ones is because the countries who do not have CFA francs, like DRC Congo, Nigeria, or Ghana, used to bring our currency to Europe and then change it. So it was causing.
All right, we lost. Go ahead, Elvis.
All right. Thank you, Dinus.
The last thing, we have 36.
Guy, you keep going in and out, man. You're on your Obama phone. I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead, Elvis.
All right. Thank you, the guy. I think he's well informed on the issues. He's very smart. Let me say this, right? In Burkina Faso, there's been 6 coups since they got their independence. 6 coups in that region. The key here is about management. Management. Now, as Africans, we don't like the situation with France dominating West Africa. We don't like it for sure. But it's about the management of the resources that you have and the current conditions that you find yourself in, managing it to your best of your ability to maximize the benefit of your people. You had a guy like Blaise Compaoré after he cooped Thomas Sankara out of office. He was there for over 20 plus years. You want to quantify the development that he made, and then just oppose that with a Houphouët Boigny, and after him, Alassane Ouattara, who had been in office for over 20 plus years. You have 4 million plus Burkina Faso or Burkinabés who are living in Ivory Coast. They're fleeing Ivory Coast now and coming into Liberia. There's the whole thing about Burkinabés taking over the forest in the southeastern part of Liberia, going into the central region. There was just a news that there was clash between people from Bone County and Burkinabés in Liberia. Burkinabés are fleeing the country in the millions and going to Ivory Coast for refuge. Why? Because Ivory Coast is better developed, it's more stable. They run there because the government there manage their resources better. So it's about management. Yes, I'm not advocating for France to dominate West Africa, but it's not always the Western countries' fault when you have leaders who are not maximizing the benefit of their resources for their people. So when you look at Traore, the brother he's only been there for about 3 years. I'm not against him. I'm just telling us that we're critical thinkers. We can look beyond what's being fed to us. That's my argument here. I'm not telling you that he's not doing well. He's doing well. My only other criticism with him was that he's running from the pot into the fire. France is not the greatest when it comes to West Africa. I agree. But you can find other allies in the West, places like Sweden and Germany, and other places that do great work on the continent. But running into the hands of the Russians, is that the best idea? I think not. So when I'm making my point, it's not that I'm against them. I'm just telling you, if you look in West Africa, they call Abidjan the Paris of Africa because it's well developed. They have a great financial sector. In West Africa, they're providing electricity to my country, to other neighboring countries. Ivory Coast is a well-developed country, and most of you will say that they're controlled by the French. But other French-controlled countries flock to Ivory Coast because they're well-developed and they have a sophisticated financial sector. So please,
Can I
I hear
speak?
everybody being
Elvis is talking a lot.
10 seconds, please. I hear everybody being emotional and attacking me. I appreciate the love tonight. I'm just telling you to be critical thinkers and go beneath the surface of what you're being fed. That's my point. I pass the mic.
Can I respond to what the other guy was saying, which is not true? He said we can't provide a source, and I have a source.
Let me pass it to Wildflower first, and I'll pass it to you. Go ahead, Wildflower.
Yeah, so listening to what Elvis was saying, that Ivory Coast is doing well because they're having a really wonderful relationship with France. Have you ever heard that there was field slaves and then you had house slaves? I would say that Ivory Coast is like the house slave. It's the one, they've cleaned up your streets. I've seen how the streets look in Abidjan. Oh, it looks fancy. But that's because, as long as you do what Massa wants, you're going to get a few crumbs off the table. That is not real sovereignty. When you have a president that's married to a white French woman, as if there is no beautiful women in Ivory Coast, setting a terrible example for snow bunny jumping. Yeah, and this guy is always smiling and cheesing with France. It's just like weird, I'm telling you. But this is the type of guy that they placed to run Ivory Coast. We remember what happened when the other guy was overthrown and this guy was placed into power. So you can't give, everyone is flocking to Ivory Coast because we're the ones that are having a perfect relationship with France and White Zaddy this. And, these guys that don't want to be in bed with White Zaddy, they're the ones that are not doing it right. I'm not buying any of that. The people in Burkina Faso are fighting for their sovereignty. Yeah. They are fighting to be able to determine their own future. You might not agree with their decisions, yeah, but everybody that has a right mental capacity has the right to make the right decision or the wrong decision. And what I find with a lot of these former colonizers, they have a problem with us as Black people practicing our own self-agency, yeah? We are fully developed humans. If we make the wrong decisions, that's on us. If we make the right decisions, that's on us. Because it is our God-given right to determine how we live our lives. Now, I've seen throughout history, these people of no color do not respect our self-agency as humans. They could sit in their ivory towers. Oh, this African country is not running themselves correctly. Oh, I'm White Zaddy, white savior, I need to go in there. These are the same people that will be stealing from you, stealing everything under your feet, and then they'll come back cheesing and smiling with their little aid buckets. Oh, hello, we're here to give you vaccines. We're here to give you a few GMO rice. You guys need to learn. You need to develop discernment skills. And I feel like the Black race, we have poor discernment skills. Because after 500 years, we still haven't figured out who these people are. They've got a record longer than the Great Wall of China. I'm like, oh my God, maybe today they're going to turn another leaf. Maybe today. No, they haven't changed. They are their ancestors. They have not changed. And we are so slow to actually get the message. No, it's not going to be a different set of people of no color. They are their ancestors. Yeah, learn from history. They mean no good for us. Everything under our feet, they feel like it belongs to them.
Yeah.
Everything under our feet, they act that way. They feel so entitled. This African person is not running. They do it wherever we are in the diaspora. They feel that it's their God-given right to to tell us how to live our lives. Yes, we're not perfect. We're going to make the wrong mistakes. We might make the right decisions. That is our personal agency. And Europeans, wherever part of the world they are, they don't respect Black people's self-agency.
Okay, let me read these super chats. I'm gonna pass the mic. Reliant Champion, thank you for the £5. Diners Play, Woody Miles' recent trip to Burkina Faso for Elvis. KJ, thank you for $1.99. Holla, blessed to Chrissy and her consistent wisdom. Abiola Folletti, thank you for $9.99. Holla. Yes, give him a chance. Lion Champion, thank you for the £5. Yeah, pound. Diners Kimmy Saba has been fighting against the Seifa of France and had his French passport revoked. Because of this, the Seifa is not good for Africa. All right, go ahead, Chrissy.
Yes, I just wanted to say, so the guy who's saying that he's not pegged to France, he's probably an agent because he's a damn liar from the pit of hell. Now, according to Reuters, because I will look up my sources. You can go to Reuters, you can also go to Investopedia. Investopedia got their sources from Bloomberg, right? So just they provide a synopsis. The West African CFA and the Central African CFA are guaranteed by French Treasury. They were historically pegged to the French franc and now to the euro. And France requires 50% foreign exchange reserves to be held in operations account at the French Treasury. Now, does that sound like a nation that's independent to you?
No.
Or that sound like a nation who has a master to you? So all these people talking all this nonsense. If you love poverty and you love slavery, go and be with your slave master. The rest of we want freedom. Okay, leave us and our freedom alone. If we make a mistake, as the other lady said, we are entitled to make our mistake. Go live in your Cote d'Ivoire. I went to Cote d'Ivoire years ago and I hated it because for me, honestly, personally, just the spirit of the people.
Whoa. I love Abidjan.
You loved it? Okay, I personally
They
didn't like
don't
it.
even know Ivory Coast. They don't even know the country. They're just picking on it.
No, I've been there. I went there. I was there for a few days, but I went there. I just personally didn't like it.
My favorite
spirit never kept the place.
My favorite restaurant in all of Africa is in Abidjan. It's called the Bushman. I love it.
Okay. All right. Everybody has their experience. But yeah, so right now, all those Francophone countries are slaves. France does not produce anything. France is a welfare state, and France is kept as a first world country by doing exactly what I said they do right here. So anybody who is against full autonomy for any nation is an enemy. That's it.
Can I say something after Chrissy Dynast, or
Go
do you
ahead.
have somebody to speak?
No, go ahead. I'm gonna pass it back to
Okay.
Guy. So you respond. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, great. Well, thank you, Chrissy. You said some of the things that I was trying to state, that the gentleman was not being 100% factual and trying to sort of bamboozle us, saying that the CFA was well, we know what it is. It's a currency that was created post independence for the francophone countries, and it's easily expendable between the various African countries that who maintain that. Togo for one. And by the way, just because that works, that gave no reason to these francophones to using pressure from France to basically detract from creating the West African echo that was being pushed by ECOWAS. It was these same silly francophone countries being led by the at the time the so-called democratic elected president of Burkina Faso. That is where Macron decided to make that announcement, basically destabilizing the West African effort, finally being supported by Nigeria and Ghana to create this currency, which would have pushed us so many aeons ahead in terms of integrating our economies. So when I hear people speak like this, I mean, my blood boils, because it's like you're so disjointed. You can't see the forest for the trees. France has never had any ambition to make African countries that it ruled independent. Number two, again, re-emphasizing what the other previous gentleman said. Why is it that France has no problem with Biya, with Sassou Nguesso, with all these dictators who have crushed their people, including my fatherland Togo? when we have just had foreign Nyasingbe create an artificial coup that will keep him in power forever. He basically has thrown a wrench in any future possibility of him being voted out. I mean, people, are we so silly? Are we so dumb that we can't create our own vision for Africa that is not supported and stamped by Western interest? When somebody tells me Abidjan is so beautiful, Abidjan has all these wonderful creates in Ivory Coast, owned by who? Created for how many native Ivorians owned those nice buildings and those nice restaurants and things? It is only
Exactly.
because they create those things
Exactly.
for the French, and the
Those
French
fools
enjoy it.
Africans coming up here. Those
I'm
fools
sorry.
Africans coming up here. So, I'm sorry to
Hold on, Bang. It's not your turn. Go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'll be
Corey, then I
done
got
in
Pastor
a
Buddy.
minute. So what I'm saying is, no country will make it without their people owning resources. I don't care if you have streets lined with gold. If you can't walk those streets, you have no power over those streets, and you are acting like a house, whatever the word is, you have no power. So please, let's stop it. Let's be honest. Yes, what you said to some extent is true, Elvis, that the guy has the right to prove himself. But why do we fear them going to the Russians? What I mean, to me, it's because of Western ideology and Western propaganda. The French, the Russia, the Sweden, these are all foreign interests. So we must calculate which interest works for us. It doesn't matter if they're with the Russians, and that means it's running to fire. What do you know about that? We always believe, because we're Western influenced, that the other is bad. The Chinese is bad. All of them have interest and wanted to be in Africa. And we as Africans must be discerning. We must know, if we align to Russia, this is what we get out of Russia. If we align to Swiss, those countries are not interested in having those type of relationships as self-economic. So sometimes, again, like I said, let's self-interrogate. Let's look at our own biases ourselves. Let's understand what is pushing us to take these positions, and begin to think as Africans. Africans. What do we get out of the deal? If it's for our people, then it
Okay,
doesn't matter who
Corey,
delivers.
I gotta pass the mic to Cuddy. Go ahead, Cuddy.
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
What it do, Donis? Big salute, Donis. Big salute, panel. Big salute, chat. See y'all, boy. Yo, chat lit, Donis.
Hey, listen. So, Guy Roast, Cuddy's actually in Burkina Faso. So go ahead, Cuddy.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm listening to it. So is it Kerry's time or is it mine? Sorry.
No, it's my time. Calm down, fella.
Okay, you go on, sir. You go on, sir.
But yeah, we in the building, man. Burkina Faso, we live in this thing. You know what I'm saying? What I came to let everybody know, panel in the chat, is I understand. I see everybody in their feelings, everybody in their emotions, but y'all got to catch up. You know, y'all kind of lagging behind. What's taking place is taking place. It's nothing nobody can do. It's bigger than eBay. It's the movement is happening, and it's taking effect on governments. So what y'all got to do is put yourself in place. I agree with the sister. Y'all got to get access to resources. Y'all got to get y'all brands going. Y'all got to get started. Because either you're going to have to make a choice. Either you're going to have to eat out your enemy's hand, or you can set your own destiny. So the door to your own destiny is open right now. It's about if you're going to walk through it, or if you're going to sit there and be stagnant, talk about old spilt milk in the past. We ain't in the past. We in the future. We in the now. What are you going to do right now? How are you going to make your ancestors look good? That needs to be the question on everybody's mind. What are you going to do? Are you going to go out like the ones in the past? Or are you going to stand up with your chest out? Because that's what's going on. Can't nobody do nothing about it. It's spreading all over the world, regardless of how anybody feel. And the youth here, 19, 20 years old, got their own brands, got access to resources. So those of y'all who's a little older than 20, like myself, but we got some catching up to do. God ain't waiting on us. We getting left behind. You gonna get left behind, or you gonna get your surfboard and ride this wave, baby. Yeah, we riding a wave right now. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Let me
Hey,
land
guy, you want to ask Cuddy a question?
I would like to
I have a
ask Cuddy a
question for
question.
you.
I have a question for Cuddy.
I just have one question. I just have one.
Can I ask Cuddy a question?
After Guy. Go ahead,
Cuddy
Guy.
go out of his house.
Guy, you going in and out. You on your Obama.
He wants to know if you can go out of your house and film.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in my drawers, but yeah, we can go outside. Right? What you mean? Y'all want to see Burkina Faso?
No. Sorry, it was the network. That's not my question. Was if you can say that in Burkina Faso that you do not approve to what Ibrahim Traoré is doing, if you can say that there, are you allowed to?
I mean, who would say that though? As a black man, no, I can't say I disapprove. As a black man, you must not be a black man. That's what made that question come out your mouth.
No, hold on. I put my camera. I put my camera on. I put my camera on.
He's a black man, brother.
I'm a full black man.
Hala Madrid.
You just look
Hala
black.
Madrid. Thank you.
You ain't black.
Cuddy, can you publicly disavow or say you disagree with Traore in public?
I mean, that wouldn't be wise because you wouldn't have to worry about eBay. You got to worry about the people around.
There you go.
A hog tie you. You better not go out there talking crazy.
Would you like this country if you couldn't disagree with the Democrats, Diners, openly?
And I'll do a little exercise. I'm in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. Fuck Ouattara. Je déteste Ouattara. Voilà. Je veux pas Ado. Ado dégage.
Fuck you and what you talking about? I heard that.
He detests Ouattara and he supports Ado.
I don't know neither one of them. So if they ain't doing nothing for the people,
he's speaking against his president, and he can freely say in this country, and nobody come for him at night. Nobody come and mob him to death because he goes against the president.
Okay, see, I ain't got a Google Translate on right now, so I ain't understand.
Right. So Cuddy, can you in public criticize Traore?
I mean, you could, but it wouldn't be wise, bro, because the people, you will get hog-tied.
There you go.
That's like going to the club.
Cuddy, woman, I'm trying to hear Cuddy. Go ahead, Cuddy.
That's like going to the club and you picking a fight with security for no reason. You by yourself. Why would you do that?
I love you live in a dictatorship, my brother. That's the point.
I love how you put it. I love how you put it. Not there you go.
I don't know what you guys are doing. Y'all think y'all being real slick.
You put it.
Daniel, can I say something?
Wait, I want to
go ahead, woman.
Cuddy, I want to be clear because what Dinus and these guys are doing is not even funny, right? What they're trying to get you to say is that Ibrahim Traoré is a dictator and he's going to restrict your ability.
No, you're not putting words in my mouth. I'm just asking a question. Can you openly criticize the president? Yes or no?
Can I explain to Cuddy? Because
can you openly criticize him? Yes or no? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can, but why would you do that?
Exactly, Cuddy. But before you came on, what they were trying to say, and I'll remove Dinus, but what Elvis and Guy were saying.
They don't like you have to remove me. You can either you can or you can't. I mean, I know
what I'm saying is that Dinus. What I'm saying is that you were the one who said it. That's why I said I'll remove you from that. But it was Elvis and Guy, and what they were saying was in Burkina Faso, Traore is a dictator, and Traore will restrict your speech. So when they're asking you, hey, can you publicly criticize him? What they're trying to say is, oh, if you criticize him, will you get in trouble? But it seems to me like what you're saying is, of course you can publicly criticize him, but the people love him so much that they'll be the problem. And that's what I'm trying to clarify, because people listening will not understand that that's what's happening. Why they're so happy that you said that.
I'm sorry, lady. I'm sorry, but I wouldn't agree with you because I have 300,000 refugees in Ouagadougou, in the north of Côte d'Ivoire, and those people will not agree with you. I'm sorry.
Everybody is in Burkina Faso. That's what he just said.
Yeah, but Cuddy don't understand the geopolitics of Africa. Respectfully to him, this guy's an Ivorian. He knows what's going on. He knows what goes on in North Ivory Coast. There are people from Burkina Faso who are fleeing to Ivory Coast looking for political asylum because they're chasing them. They see them as enemy of the state. You guys don't know these things.
What are you
You're just
saying?
looking at propaganda. You believe it.
Your soul already sold.
Regulate this, please. Everybody's talking about
boy, get up out of here. Like you smart. Yeah, I
The
know what they
people
trying to do.
in who
woman.
are refugees.
Tell him, Cuddy. Tell him.
I grew up around people like this. I know all about the black community. I know the difference. I know what they trying to do. But the truth will always prevail.
Tell them
what they trying to do.
Exactly.
Whoever trying to hold up for the white masters, your white masters, their power is over. God is in control of this. Why do you think they can't touch you?
It is unbelievable.
Let me tell you what just happened.
It's horrible to ever make it.
Go ahead, Cuddy. Go ahead, Cuddy.
Let me tell y'all what's that. They had F-16 jets, Marine jets, that came and tried to block eBay plane. Do you know that they didn't know that Russian jets was in the air? Oh, y'all ain't heard about that, have you? Yeah, them boys bag down, fall back, go back to that military.
What's your source? What's your source? What's your source? What's your source?
There's something that you're not gonna hear. There's something I seen with my eyes in the skies. There's something that you're not gonna hear from your white masters.
So you can see in the sky with a Marine jet from the United States. Okay.
But what I can tell you, there's a Marine base and there's Marine ships off the Ivory Coast and in Liberia. And how do you know that them 300 refugees ain't soldiers trying to get to them boats, boy?
What are you talking about? They're in the north of Ivory Coast. That's not even close to the coast of Liberia.
You need to do some more homework, Elvis. You need to learn about your country. I've been there. I've been all over through there.
Before Kenny come on, right? Before Kenny came on early in the conversation, Elvis, who likes to talk about facts and et cetera, said, whenever Cuddy was on the live and we asked him to go outside and film, and Cuddy said he can't go outside and film because he's not allowed to do that in Burkina Faso. You can't film on anything that's going on. Cuddy, can you please clarify that?
Yeah, I can go out there and film. I'll be at the spot every day. I mean, I don't ride. You can't film government spots. You can't go on the bank and film, but you can film.
Yeah, well, that's everywhere. Yeah,
that's everywhere. You can't film government buildings.
I just want
to. No, that's everywhere. That's everywhere.
Exactly.
He said that before when Brandon was on the platform and Brandon asked him to go out. He said you can't go. I won't be smart. Just like what he said earlier.
The comparison made by
government buildings and
by the guy.
Elvis, what you're trying to do, you kept trying to manipulate Cuddy's word to prove your point. And I know that he did not say that.
I'm not manipulating anything. I'm just having a conversation. I'm not here to fight with anybody.
And I've seen him filming himself eating food outside and all of that.
So this is getting out of hand. Can you regulate this? The comparison made by the guy in Ivory Coast that people are fleeing to seek asylum in Ivory Coast is ridiculous. Even when Trump came to office, people are escaping to Canada to seek asylum. People are going to different countries to seek asylum. It does America is not safe.
Refugees though. That's what I'm saying.
If people are escaping America, when Trump came to power the first time, people left the country to seek asylum in different Americans go to different countries to seek asylum. When he came to power second time, people do the same. Does it mean America is not safe? You cannot be using that. People, they are always going to be.
Sir, please, you mistake my point. No, right. You will find nowhere else in the world that 300. That you will find nowhere else in the world that 300,000. Listen to the number. I'm not talking about 12 people. I'm not talking about 1,000. I'm not even talking about 100,000.
No,
I'm talking about 300,000.
The president of the Ivory Coast is a child of economic refugee in Burkina Faso. His mother came from Burkina in Ivory Coast. His mother came from Burkina Faso and had him in Ivory Coast.
He has been debunked. When I have time to speak, I'll speak on it.
Uncertainty makes people flee. Uncertainty makes people flee. Whenever government change, there are people who are uncertain and they are afraid. People try.
And Burkina Faso have had like 4 coups in the last 10 years, brother.
Exactly. So
Ivory Coast hasn't.
They're fighting the terrorists as well.
Ivory Coast have had that dictator backed up by France.
Their villages. That's it. That has nothing to do with
can we talk about?
Hey, yeah. Let me pass the Bang. Bang's been waiting. Go ahead, Bang.
Man, how y'all doing, man? First of all, that article, right? That whoever wrote that article, did not have zero evidence at all. No concrete evidence at all. You telling me you think France does not have somebody that works on IA posting videos? I mean, AI posting videos all over social media, especially on YouTube, trying to confuse people? Come on now, you gotta be kidding me. These countries are too powerful. You think you're just gonna sit there, allow these guys come and take over their lunch?
They ain't got no power.
You know what I'm trying to say? You think France is not gonna hire somebody to make some videos on YouTube using AI and say this and that and say this and that? The entire article didn't have zero concrete evidence at all. Those are the same people telling you, oh, Russia was losing the war a year ago, a couple months ago. Russia did not have no weapons.
And they whooping all the NATO.
Yes, all these things. These are the same people writing all these articles. These are the same people telling you, Saddam had mass weapons and everything. These are the same people. Come on, let's be real. And
propaganda is their favorite game.
And then first of all, right? If you are an African, you have a problem with this guy. Something wrong with you. Something wrong with you. I don't care I don't care how you twist it, how you bend it around the corner. Something wrong with you deeply. You hate yourself and you hate your own dad. Because let me put it this way, right? If this man just came in power, let's say the last 3 years, right? All of a sudden, these Western countries are having a problem with it. Because you know why? It's going to spread like a disease in West Africa. They don't want the disease to spread.
It's already happening.
They don't want it. Exactly. The world is changing. I guarantee y'all, the world is changing. There's a new power taking over this world. It was British, then it was America. There's a new power taking over this world, and it's not Western countries. Like it or not, I guarantee within the next 5 to 10 years, the world is changing completely. If you're an African, you have a problem with this guy, and then you live in a Western country, man, F you. F you, man. Seriously, man, F you. And I go as far as, man, I'll keep it like that. Because this is personal, man. Our people has been suffering for years, man. For years. I know somebody that's from Burkina Faso, an elder. He told me a lot of stories, man, about that country, how people are suffering under France. France, you kidding me?
Stop the bullshit, man. Ivory Coast is quote unquote under France, and they're way more developed. They have a way bigger GDP. People from Burkina Faso are fleeing to Ivory Coast. Are they not under the French? Since you guys said they're under France, it's about management. They're poorly managed. They have a lot of military coup. They're unstable. That's why the people are fleeing the country.
Ivory Coast got
okay.
Right,
you use the evidence of Ivory Coast. Are you kidding me? Are you saying, man?
Tell us. Go ahead. Make your argument.
I'm trying my best not to curse, right? Look at the CFA franc. Look at the CFA franc. Okay, let me give you a quick example, right? Say you work, right?
Sorry, sir. Before you came here, I debunked all the lies about CFA franc.
Oh, no, that's nonsense. No, you did not debunk the lie. You just lied.
Come on, stop it.
You guys said that Ivory Coast and Burkina Faso are in the same boat. They're both controlled by France. So just oppose the two countries.
You said about France was totally ignorant.
Okay.
That has been settled in academia. Everything has been settled. I'm talking to the guy from Ivory Coast.
Let me say this real quick, right? Do you think Ivory Coast French government don't have somebody that's African, that's from Ivory Coast, that's not a spokesperson?
Yeah, you're asking hypothetical questions. Speak facts.
What do you think?
I'm saying I give you all your points. Ivory Coast is controlled by France. Burkina Faso is controlled by France. Why is one country more developed and more stable than the other?
Of France. Ivory Coast is the darling of France. That is their vacation spot in Africa.
Let me say this.
That is the French vacation spot.
He called me up for a reason. Why the hell you have Africans that's from Ivory Coast dying in the sea, trying to go to Europe? Dying in the desert, trying to go to Europe.
Ivory Coast is a French vacation spot.
My friend, shut up.
Trying to get out the slums on the beach.
My friend, shut up. Allison, whatever his name is, right? He took over by a coup.
Alassane Ouattara won the election, brother. We don't agree with it, but he won the elections.
He took over by a coup, my friend.
He won the election, but who just didn't want to leave.
Kudu didn't want to leave, but he won the elections. We know that.
There you go, Elvis.
Somehow imagine.
Elvis, you don't like yourself.
Diners, can you regulate this so everybody can speak? Come on now. Come on. Why are you so
Bang, it's your turn, Bang. Go ahead, Bang.
Come on.
Man, you got 30 seconds, man. And then, guys, I need two people to
Okay.
drop
If
off.
you working right, let's
So I can
say
bring other people on.
let's say you working right, you getting paid $100 every week, right? And then France, you take that $100, right, and hand it to France, right? And then France give you $10 back. They've been doing that for years. And then when you request for that money, France dictates what you gonna do with it, and then they put a high interest in it as well. You telling me just the basic of that thinking? You tell me that makes sense for any country?
Not true. Even if I give you that point, it depends on what you do with that $10. If you misuse it and spend it on bullshit, and your people live in poverty, that's on you. I told you before, I don't like what France is doing in the region, but it's about the management of the government that's there.
Elvis, it doesn't make no sense if I take $90 out of your $100 every fucking week.
I ain't got no slums.
You come on, man.
I'm saying, even if I give you your point, right?
You're the same man that don't believe
If
that.
they're giving Ivory Coast $10, they're giving Burkina Faso $10 of their $100. What is Burkina Faso doing with their $10?
So
What is
you are
Ivory Coast
saying
doing with their
that they
$10?
have the right to steal the money?
I'm not saying that. I'm just giving him his point for the sake of the argument, right? To move it
As
along.
long as they give you a crumb, it's okay. Manage it well. That's nonsense talk.
That's not what I'm saying. We're not arguing about the crumbs.
So why are you saying that as long as they give you $10?
He's giving a hypothetical, and I'm agreeing with his hypothetical and asking a question on top
You're
of it.
supposed to be like Dubai, but it's okay. You can be like a village because you can manage a little that you have.
You guys are idealistic. Look, we've been living on a new colonialism for a long time.
I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead, Afro Man. Afro Man.
Hello, yes, good evening, good afternoon, peace, everyone. I don't even know where to begin. So much misinformation going on here. I'm going to separate two issues. One on the issue of Burkina Faso, and then the second issue is on the matter concerning the CFA franc. That topic alone on the CFA franc, okay,
the stupid
requires
African over here
a separate
supporting
live
France.
Show.
You stupid African.
Okay. Because there are so many people speaking on this issue on the CFA front, and I bet you my last Ghana city, they have never studied economics at the university level. They are giving their lay opinion, and I am suggesting to Dynast that one of these days you do a live specifically on the topic of the CFA, so that some of us who actually have degrees in economics can speak on the matter, because
Bring
it's
your
a
products
very
and resources to this internet and cam up.
Hey, y'all, I need you. Don't interject, please. Go. I'm trying to hear this. Go ahead, Afro Man.
Okay, because you need if someone is speaking about the black hole in space, I don't want to hear the opinion of a layperson. I want to hear the opinion of an astrophysicist, and not the opinion of lay people. Okay, when you study the CFA franc zone, it is one of the best performing currencies in the whole of Africa.
Oh,
go
smart
through
man.
the countries.
Oh my God.
Someone said,
oh my
okay.
God. I'm done.
Someone said,
No, but God, if I
the-
can interject, he's telling the truth. Go ahead.
No, he's mistaking exchange rate with
These guys don't understand economics, Dinus. They're just speaking on emotions.
mixing apples and oranges.
Can he repeat what he said all over again? I couldn't
Go ahead, Afro Man.
Listen, okay? When you take the CF, you go through the countries, Togo, Benin, okay, Ivory Coast, look at their inflation rate, okay? Most of these countries, okay, had inflation rate below 4% on average in 2024. And this is not just, like a one-time thing. Consistently, their inflation rate has been very low. Take Nigeria, 30% inflation rate. Ghana currently 21%. Okay, none of the countries outside of the CFA zone in Africa, okay, have managed to have consistent inflation rate below 10%. It is only the CFA zone. Someone spoke here and said that the CFA zone countries don't have central banks. That is an outright lie. The two zones, the one in West Africa and the one in Central Africa, have a central bank each. Okay, and this is just a Google click away. And the people employed there are Africans, African economists, African people who have expertise in economics. Okay, someone else said that they keep their euros in France. As I said, this thing requires a whole life on its own. If you really want to know why, the agreement between them and France was to have them to keep part of their foreign reserves in France. You have to study a concept called moral hazard. It's not something that you just say as a lay opinion with slogans. Oh, France is controlling this country. Now, I'm not saying, I'm not saying, mind you, I'm not saying that France doesn't have influence over the CFA zone. I'm not saying that what Ouattara did when they were planning on having a single currency in West Africa, he single-handedly derailed the efforts of the ECO by bringing in France. So that's true. But there's also a lot of misinformation going on. And I'm suggesting to Diners that one of these days you have a live specifically on the issue of the CFA zone. Thank you.
Daniel, please let me respond to you guys because you mentioned many things that I said.
Afro man, you're very smart, my brother.
This guy is spot on. This guy is spot on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you have real thinkers, critical thinkers. We like that.
Guys, be quiet. Be quiet. Go ahead, say James.
Hi, Donis. Thanks for having me again. You know, I came late on this live. Like I'm 1 hour late, but I do believe I have to come back again and make some corrections. I was hearing a question asked to Cuddy, as it if he can criticize Traore, you know, and he was referencing the fact that, you know, he can criticize it, but the people are not gonna like it. So he's talking about the people. He's not talking about the government. So the people like Traore. So therefore, they're not, you know, they're gonna feel a certain way, but he can still criticize Traore, even on TV, on radios. The last time I was here, I told you the idea that Traore is not letting people in Burkina criticize him is not true. And it's again and again and again. We are a free country with free people. With everybody's open-minded in Burkina Faso. Trust me, Traore faced some resistance in Burkina Faso. There are certain things that he does that we like. There are certain things that we feel like he can show some improvement. I live here in America. Do you think I'm with him 100% about everything that he's doing? Yeah, we're gonna be critics of certain things that he's doing. And nobody is sitting here thinking Traore is doing everything perfectly in Burkina Faso. Come on, man. Why you can have grown folks over here talking about nobody can criticize a man, one man, in a country where we have like almost 23 million people? Can you control all these people by yourself? Even if you have the military behind you, do you think that can happen? Show me that country where you can't criticize someone. Come on, man, stop that. Tomorrow is Sunday. You can watch the news in Burkina Faso. You got people criticizing the regime on TV. You can see it. Just stop that. He's a dictator. Doesn't allow people to talk. How do you talk about he cannot go outside and film certain area? Okay, we are being invaded by terrorists. Do you want Kadi to go outside and film everything? People are even going to check him before the police get to him. That's why we advise people when they get there, go to the police office, get like a pass so you can go outside and film. So when you get arrested, they know maybe you have a YouTube channel or you are visiting, you like the country, and you want to showcase the country to the world. But we have been attacked by terrorists. So you don't expect people to do the things that they do when the country is not attacked. Come on, man. We can't be having that, man. That's ridiculous, sir. One man, Traore, can control 22 million people to not talk about him? Do you think that's possible? You got serious, man. Stop that. And I was hearing that 300,000 Burkinabe left to come Ivory Coast. Can you expand on that a little bit? Are they refugee or political refugee? Because I didn't get the point.
Besides even that, men are St. James, right?
Hey, are they goons?
No. The Ivorian that was making the comment. Are they political refugee or refugees? I'm trying to make sure of that because I didn't hear him clearly.
St. James, They're saying Africans in every African country benefit of a disaster of Africa. I don't care what you
He
tell
was
me.
he was asking that question to Guy. Let Guy answer if he's
Hey,
still
hey,
on.
Guy, can you unmute yourself and answer the question, Guy?
Yes, I'm here. Okay, it has been estimated by the Ivorian government that we have 3,000 political refugees from Burkina Faso. 3,000. This is the figure. But the 300,000 are people fleeing different stuff:
So it came from the government.
terrorism. Yes, you guys believe
So it
sources
came
from Traore. Why
Are they
can we?
political refugee or just
I gave the
refugees?
I gave the figure. We have 3,000 estimated by the
Okay,
government.
yeah, I'm not
3,000
gonna
political
debunk the
refugees.
figure. Wherever you had it, so I'm not. It's not that's not the point. I'm just asking: are they political refugee or they just refugee? People who are fleeing for their life
Yes,
because they're not safe in the where they're
sir.
from.
Yes, 3,000. It has been estimated 3,000
For
Burkinabes
people
are
members
seeking
of the
asylum.
outside political
Okay,
party.
so they're not Okay, so they're not So you're not referring to political refugees.
I said there's 3,000. That said there's
3,000 political
3,000
refugees,
political
300,000
refugees
humanitarian
in
refugees in the
Now the
north.
3,000 political
That's
refugees. I
500.
don't know. Okay, let me address the 3,000 political refugees as you're mentioning. So we don't know of them. We know a few Burkinabe that fled to Ivory Coast because the government of Ivory Coast is in cahoots with them to undermine Traore. So those are the people we know. And some people, because they don't have what they had before, they self-deported themselves to Ivory Coast. The government of Burkina Faso doesn't have anything to do with that. And if you guys are welcoming them, that's fine. You can feed them, take care of them. We don't have a problem. But they don't come to us as political refugee. They're not. You understand? They're not political refugees. These are people who try to destabilize Traore, and they fled to Ivory Coast, and they turn and they portray themselves to be political refugee. They are not.
Daniels, I'd like to reply to Afroman
Okay, sir.
first.
Okay. So
And
I
then,
have a press
and then he
publication
said
from Modern
the
Ghana
numbers came from the government.
that's saying different.
Because if I can continue, when Traore came in power, the former president, who was a civilian, is still in Burkina Faso. Nobody from his government got arrested until today. Nobody is in jail. Traore didn't kill anybody. He didn't throw anybody in jail without due process. He did not. No. Let me finish.
I have to rectify.
No. Let me finish. You can rectify. This is the record we have of the man. If you have a different record, we can talk about it. If you can provide the name of this political refugee, if they have a political party, whatever they were doing in Burkina Faso, I want you to come up with the name of the people that fled to Ivory Coast that you believe were political refugee. Therefore, we can have a conversation. Throw in numbers. Like I told you, some people self-deported themselves to Ivory Coast because they plotted against Traore regime and they were caught. They fled to Ivory Coast for protection, and we respect that. Like I said, they don't come to us as political refugee. They come to us as antagonizer. That's what it is.
It's not even that, St. James.
Okay, thank you.
Those people are the same
Let Guy respond, man. Go ahead, Guy.
There are three things that he has said there that I'm going to mention quickly. Number one, Traore didn't overtake the government of Roch Kabore. Traore overtook the government of Damiba, who is another military. Damiba is not in Burkina Faso, he's in Togo.
They were together, sir.
This is number one.
That's correction. I'm correcting you.
Come on. Damiba took over Kabore.
Damiba was with who? Damiba was with whom?
Oh gosh.
They were together. With Traore was there. They backed up Damiba. Damiba took power.
Over.
What happened?
So who did Traore overthrow, St. James?
Traore threw Damiba. Damiba threw Rock Mark. But when Damiba was throwing Rock Mark, Traore backed Damiba. What are you talking about? He backed him.
Yeah, but he backed him, but then he overthrew him, right?
Yeah,
because he was selling out. And
I hear you, but the point is he overthrew him. That's the point.
What you mean? Is the point? The point is for the people, Elvis. It's not about
absolutely.
We're speaking about facts. We're not talking about for who and for who.
Shut up. You know America, man.
I think it's important to stay factual here because you were referring to the fact that Traore overtook the civilian president who is still there. No,
I said there. I used there just to mention that he was part of the team, the group that took out Rock Mark Christian Kabore. He was part of the team.
Yes, he was part of the team, and then he overtook the guy who was there. And
Oh,
that's
yes,
why we
because
overtook
they
is
had
not
a
there anymore.
disagreement.
Because
Yeah,
he fears for his life. That's why he's not there.
again, I'm going to explain to you because you are an
He's in
Ivorian, so
Togo.
you don't understand what happened. Again, when they had the final meeting, to the king of the Mosi tribe, Damiba and Traore. They had a meeting.
Yeah,
They
yeah, the
squashed the meeting.
Mohotaba. I
Let
know
me
everything
finish.
about
Let me
it.
finish. When they squashed the meeting, Damiba, when he relinquished power, go back to the speech he said, I made a request to Traore, leave my men alone, and everything will be fine. That was the requirement. They agree on that. Traore didn't touch none of his people. Damiba left for Togo on his own accord. Nobody. Again, nobody. Traore didn't. When even the question was asked to Traore, why did Damiba went to Togo? Traore said, I wasn't looking for him. He chose to go to Togo. That was his decision. The government of Traore never reached out for him. That's factual.
Let him know. Let him
All right,
know.
guys, let me pass the mic to Coley. Go ahead,
Okay,
Coley. Then I'm
let's.
passing the woman.
Okay,
Let me
go on,
pass the
Colin.
Coley.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Coley. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
yeah,
Coley.
hello. Thank you, everyone. This Giga, I'm also from Ivory Coast, and if this guy is a liar, let me tell you that for sure. If he's in Ivory Coast, ask him how the Ivorians feel about our own president in our own country. What is he actually doing for the people itself? How many people have bled in Ivory Coast when he tried to take power? And I'm talking about citizens. I'm not talking about military guys. I'm talking about citizens in our own country who and some of our and he's soldiers or militants. They weren't even Ivorian militants. They were actually terrorists. You can call them terrorists. Yeah, who were backed by the French, helped him and these terrorists take over the government. So he's coming online talking about Traore, saying this about Traore, but he needs to look in the mirror himself and ask, what is Alison Ouattara doing for Ivorians? There are a lot. He cannot tell you how many Ivorians right now that hate Alison Ouattara. Him himself, he cannot come online or be online and tell you that he doesn't like Alison Ouattara because he knows if he says that right now, if he's in Ivory Coast, he can never say
I
something.
said that 15
No,
minutes
wait.
ago.
He
I said that 15
criticized him
minutes
in
ago.
French.
I filmed
Yeah,
myself
he
on the
did.
street and I said it. Come on.
You what?
You don't
You're
live
not in
here, do
Ivory
you?
Coast. You're a liar. You're a liar. Wait. You're not in Ivory
I'm
Coast.
not.
I know you're not in Ivory Coast. You're not in Ivory Coast. You tell me
Okay,
what
good.
you're not in Ivory
Okay.
Coast. You're probably in France and you're saying this. I know this because my parents, I'm not going to say too much. Wait. My
he
parents are
loved
in
the
Ivory Coast
French.
right now. My parents are in Ivory Coast right now. They can't say anything. I speak to them on a daily basis.
Where
We can't
are
even
your
talk about
parents
politics.
from?
It doesn't matter. What does that matter?
No, they're
Yeah,
from Ivory Coast.
because you know
They're from
why?
Does
Ivory Coast.
You know
matter
But if
what's
I
so
because there's
told
a
crazy?
you,
tribalist
You know why? You know what's so
element.
Yeah,
crazy?
there's a tribal,
no,
there's a
The
tribal
white man,
Element at play here.
undertone
there you
there.
go. The white man again.
Stop. Wait, let me finish. Let me
Let him
finish,
finish
Keith.
his speech.
Let me finish, Keith. There is no tribalism in Ivory Coast. There's never, I swear, I'm assuming my grandparents, there was never any tribalism in Ivory Coast. When the French tried to and take over and try to destabilize us, they tried it through tribalism. It wasn't working. Then they tried it through Christian versus Islam. So then they had the North versus the South. Then they backed Alassane Ouattara, yeah, who's not even Ivorian. Alassane Ouattara is not actually Ivorian.
He's
Okay. You
Ivorian.
see,
His
now you see
He's
it's coming out. He's not
Ivorian. He was
Ivorian.
born in Ivory
Yes, let
Coast.
me
He's
finish.
Ivorian.
Come on.
Let me finish. He's not from Ivory Coast. You may have been born there, but nobody knows. His parents
Oh
are
my
from what
God! You
country?
see, this is what we're talking about.
Wait. I'm asking a question. What country were both of his parents? Both
One of his
of
parents is
his
from
parents.
Burkina Faso. One of his parents is from
Thank you.
Burkina
Now
Faso.
stop there. Let me.
No,
Okay,
none
you
of
answer my
his
question.
parents are, and I can
Oh
show you the evidence.
no! What are we doing? What are we doing? You're not answering my question. So both his parents are from Burkina Faso. Correct. That's the first thing. Now in the Ivorian constitution, it says that both your mama and papa have to be born in the country for
That
you
would
to.
change. That was changed before the
Who
election.
changed it? Who changed it?
Oh,
I
Who
think it
changed
was
it?
Henry
who changed
Conan
it? Who
Blade
changed it?
that
Who changed
changed
it?
it.
Oh my God!
Who,
You
You see,
see?
why was it
whatever
Come on,
changed?
man. Hey, big man, man.
Because they didn't want Ouattara to run because he was the prime minister under Hifé Bonnier.
Wait. They didn't want him to run because he's not Ivorian. Why would you change the
No, because
constitution?
one of his parents are presumed to come from Burkina Faso. They try to delegitimize him so he doesn't run for office because they feared him.
Past that level now, bro.
Because he's not. Because both his parents are not Ivorian. It's in the constitution. Why would you change the constitution?
No, we are past that level. He's president now. We are past that level now, please. That
right.
one.
Okay, sorry. Okay, let me stop about that. Tell that guy, guy, tell him to look at Ivory Coast before he starts talking about Burkina Faso. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And I rest my case.
Please,
he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Can I please respond? Please, can I respond?
All right, guy, you got 30 seconds. I'm gonna pass it to OGX. Go ahead.
I'll do it quickly. Okay, I'll do it quickly. The guy that just came on, I don't know your name. I'm sorry. I live in Cote d'Ivoire now. I moved back here 3 years ago. Okay. I used to work in the UK, Belgium, and France before I moved back here. I'm doing business in cashew nuts and in cocoa beans. So I do not only work in Cote d'Ivoire. I work in Guinea-Conakry. I work in Burkina Faso. I work in Ghana. I work in Togo. I work in Benin, all the way up to Nigeria, and I do business in South Africa. So when I speak about Cote d'Ivoire, I'm not saying Alassane Ouattara is the greatest thing since fire. No, I'm using facts. I'm using evidence, not just what I can see on the street. I'm using facts and evidence to say that what Ibrahim Traoré is doing in Burkina Faso, because I have family there as well, I'm doing business there, as I told you, is not good for his people. This is my point. The name of the live is digital.
Hey, let him finish. Okay. Let him finish.
And I believe that it's not good for eBay to have a digital cult. I believe that it's better for eBay, who is just a captain in the army, to go up front and fight. That's my point. If you can prove to me that, if you can prove to me that eBay has been able to regain full control of his country, I'm just gonna shut up. But you cannot.
From taking power, we had 40% of our territory. As we speak now, we are over 75% due to eBay and all the reform.
What's your source? Please name a source. Name one.
Okay,
give me the link.
Listen, I give you. You see, the sources come from directly from the government, and I'm also my village, right? The village that my people come from.
I need to see. I even want to see. I even want to see the link.
So when you ask for evidence, see the link of the government. So if you can't trust like public figures in your country, right? Why are you here talking about Ivory Coast? So do you want us to believe you?
No,
so you're not going to put me. No, you're trying to put me on a pedestal. I'll give you an example. Even beside I'll give you an example. Even beside what the government is saying, right? You know, when the situation happened in Burkina Faso, some people have to leave the houses, right? The place where they come from to go to the different cities, right? Do you agree with that? So when we check the polls and we see the people returning back to their homes, you understand the situation is getting better. So when the government come and tells you, oh, we went back and got this place back, you can say, you know what, let me check with these people and see if they did go back. And when you check and they put the camera there, yes, there is life. People did go back. The businesses are open. Why would you sit here and tell me now it's not true? Like I told you, my people come from the Sahel. So when I check with my parents, they tell me, oh, St. James, in 2020, all the people that flock into the village, most of them have returned to their home. What does that tell me? It's getting better. So I'm here to tell you, yes, when we went from 40 to 75, it did happen because we are not stupid people. We can also double check on our side to confirm things.
But St. James, ain't he the
so your sources are your parents,
family members, neighbors, extended family members, communities. You know the communities. You know the communities.
You say you have business in Burkina Faso.
I'm sorry,
guy. You say you have business in Burkina Faso.
And you say you have family members there also.
Dinus, I thought you was going to next.
Yeah. Go ahead. Let me pass the woman. Go ahead, woman.
I really was hoping to speak to Afro Man. But I'm going to say what I was trying to say in either case. So Afroman came on and said that, you know, when we speak about these topics, you need to speak with people who have all these degrees, etc. It does not take an economist to figure simple things out. Now, I believe what he was saying was that the currency left by the French in the Francophone countries perform better than the other currencies on Africa. Can someone confirm or not if that's what he was saying?
I could tell, I could confirm by experience that I would definitely say in West Africa, yes.
Okay, Dinus. Now, 1 city of franc is worth, I'm sorry, €1 is worth over 650 city of franc. $1 is worth over 500 city of franc. So I'm not saying nobody cares, but good for West Africa that the money left by the colonizer performs better than the money that the other countries are using. However, you are still far behind where you should be with the resources and with what the colonizers have. The GDP per capita in France is over 44,000 USD. The GDP per capita in Ivory Coast is a little over 2,000, I believe. So you don't need to have a degree in economics to understand that based on those numbers, those countries that were once colonized by the French are still in comparison incredibly poor, and most people live well below the poverty line. So to come on this panel and talk about how the CDF franc performs better than, let's say, the Ghana CD or whatever, or the Naira, you're not proving anything to anyone. All you're saying is that, like, I'm going to bring up Volvo now. Essentially what you're saying is, I live in the best house in the projects. Yeah, but you're still in the projects. You are still in the project. So you're not, that doesn't make sense.
Everything is relative, and relative to other African nations, Ivory Coast is doing better in their or with their currency.
I need to add
That's
to
okay.
what
You're not doing better. You're not doing better when you're still so far behind. You're not doing better when you're still so far behind.
They're not doing better with the European countries. They're doing better with the other CFA nations.
Daniel, please give me a minute, please. Daniel, at least give me a minute.
You forget one
please.
thing, right? These countries.
Well, no, actually, I need to Sauce Man. Go ahead, Sauce Man.
Hi guys, how you guys doing?
Are you ignoring me, Daniel? What's going on?
Okay,
You're next. After Sauce Man, you go next, Snyder.
I love these conversation, guys. But remember, we're communicating, we're speaking to each other. It shouldn't be an argument all the time. If you guys listen to this later on, you guys not gonna make any sense out of it. This is what I'm saying. You guys have a panel. You guys have sense. You guys have respect. So you guys have to be respectable when you guys are on the panel. We can't be like disrespecting each other to make a change. Understand? Everybody has their own opinion. It's just their opinion. It doesn't have to be right. Yes or no? That's what I'm saying. It comes down to respect. We have to respect each other so we can get what we're trying to get out there. We need to unite as a race, as a community. We need to practice these stuff, not just talk about them, right? So even on the internet, we're not going to see each other face to face, but we still can have the respect for each other. We're not supposed to be shouting and screaming over each other just to get a point across. And when you get your turn, you should make it like a minute or something like that, so somebody can say something and then you can come back with it. We're great people, you know. On my YouTube channel, that's all I talk about is our greatness, how we're great, our unlimited ability. That's one of the things. We have unlimited ability, but somebody else is harnessing it at all times. We don't have unity within ourselves because we look at this country or that country, we look at that religion, we look at this food, that food, all of the stuff that are so insignificant are the things that we highlight. If we're talking about a topic, we're supposed to have a resolution or a solution at the end of the day. We're not supposed to leave a panel and say, well, I feel unfulfilled. We're supposed to come together, and when we get together, other people, other races listening to us, they say, yes, this sounds good. This sounds positive. These are the positive community are not out there because everybody has an enemy within our culture. If I'm not fighting against you, I'm not going to get any ratings. If you're not fighting against me, nobody's going to subscribe. But within the algorithm, We can put positivity in the algorithm until the algorithm have to spit it back out. If we keep on arguing with each other all the time, we'll never solve anything. Solution, we're problem solvers. We are problem solvers. Now, this king is trying to solve the problems for his people, and everybody's paying attention to him. If we're going to sit here and criticize everything that he does, that means we can do better, and we should be in that position to do better. So once you guys are saying, oh, he's not doing this, he's not doing that, okay, show me what you're doing that's better than what he's doing. One of the things that I've been going through, it's the past, present, is it the future? Because the past is pretty much the same thing that we're living. I thought it was the loop, but it's not. It's continuous, which means we're not paying attention to yesterday. Meanwhile, yesterday is today and today is tomorrow, but we're not putting it together like that. It's all in pieces. Once we come together and have an idea of positivity, it's positive over negative. We are humans with unlimited ability, and those unlimited ability, they need nutrient, they need to grow, they need to expand. The greatest scientist comes from Africa. This is what I'm saying. This is my question. Okay, if these people are so smart, right? They're in laboratory creating all of these stuff. Why do they sell everything that they create so expensive? Meanwhile, the people are in Africa going through garbage and picking up extra stuff to create arms and legs and stuff like that, right? That's affordable. So a genius is not in a lab. A genius is outside. There's no geniuses in the lab because they can make a mistake over and over and over and over and over and over. And then they say, yes, I'm a genius. So when I look and listen, I listen a lot. This is one of my greatest ability, is to listen, to understand, not listen to reply. There's a difference. When you listen to reply, that means you're looking for an argument. That's what I'm saying. I'm listening to you guys, and it's not a conversation. You guys are not communicating. You guys are trying to one-up each other. And these are the things we have to get away from. We have to come up with solutions. Even in this little group right here, we're supposed to say, okay, fine, let's get our phone numbers together so we can interact offline, so we can get to know each other. Because when you're on the internet, right, anybody can be anybody. And also remember, there is always the enemy. The enemies are always going to be there. And the enemy works on separation. They want to separate us from our skills, from our money, from our love, from everything. When I look at everything, this is what I see. But I'm understanding the only way we can change is unless we look at the past and look at how to change it in the future. This is why I love this man so much. I heard one politician says that this man gets up, he goes to bed, he thinks about it, he gets up and he does it. Meanwhile, some people, they go to bed, they think about it, they have to wake up in the morning and tell 10 different people, then 10 different people have to have 10 different meetings, to have 10 different ideas to come up with one idea to say, okay, let's do it. So everything that I've seen so far with my eyes, in my lifetime, I've never seen anybody who represents like how he's represented in our culture. And the people before him, they all got assassinated just because of who they are. And it's the same thing with this king. All they're saying is negative things about him. He's not going around. When he speaks clearly. He speaks with understanding. He doesn't mumble, jumble his word. He represents himself in such a high level. That's what we're supposed to gravitate to, because when I talk about this man, I try to find people who speak the same way about him, who's met him before. Yesterday, that woman, the African gentleman, Waminiaba, his name is
Wademaya.
Yes, I watch him too, and he went to Africa, and he went to Burkina Faso. And yesterday I was saying, look at this. This man went to Burkina Faso, and this man is walking around like normal. And I'm saying that's love. That is love. I come from Jamaica, and I'm telling you, I would love for Jamaicans to have that peace. That's just that, not that aggressiveness towards each other, right? I don't understand how we're so aggressive towards each other and so passive towards other people. Because I'm sure many times how we talk to each other would never say that, have that conversation in a court of law, or with a police officer, or with a doctor or a lawyer, those people. So I'm saying how we talk to each other is one of our biggest failure. We don't talk to each other with respect. We don't respect each other. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. These are the things that we're supposed to be
Let me read
saying.
the super chats. Let's see here. Obsidian order from Schneider. Thank you for the 99 holla. Schneider, you're next after I finish these super chats. Lee Clinton, thank you for $5 holla. Where's your source for this 300,000? Lee Clinton, thank you for the $5. Estimated propaganda. FBA Yellow Line, thank you for $1.99 holla. Bush Babies or tofu strudel. Ray Undungu, thank you for 999 holla. Well said, Sauce Man. All right, go ahead, Schneider.
Yes, thank you. Like what our brother just said a few seconds ago, I think it's something you should put in practice, Daniels. I think you can build a great community with the people you bring into this group every day. You can create a huge community that could be constructive on other things behind the scene.
Yes.
In fact, let me make a statement concerning what Afro Man said. In fact, I would advise Afro Man to go back and collect his school fees from that university wherever he went, because he was mixing apples and oranges. He was talking about interest rate instead of economic structural policies. He said I said that those safer countries don't have a central bank. Don't have central bank. He's mistaking the difference between a community bank and a national bank. I am talking like a central bank of Ghana, central bank of Sierra Leone, central bank of Nigeria, where they make economic policy where they can control interest rate. For example, when inflation is too high, they can decide to raise interest rates to try to balance the economy, like the U.S. central bank will do. Or when when there's too much flow of currency in the market, they can regulate, or they can decide how the interest of the country go. But these countries don't have that, because the interest rate of these countries is controlled by the central bank of Central Africa or West African economic safer zone. And those presidents are only answerable to France. The central bank presidents are only answerable to France. And it is the Bank of Paris that make interest rate, because their currencies are pegged to the French currency. But even though the French has moved to the euros, the French has taken this currency and peg it to euro, even though the French are no longer using the CFA. So the reason why the inflation rate is stable in somewhat, not all, in some of these French African countries, is because it is pegged to the euro. So wherever the euros go, whatever interest rate the euros go, so goes the France CFA. That is because they have no control over the interest. But the reason why you have some inflation rate in some of these other countries that are not CFA is because the central banks have the ability to say, okay, there's too much influx of money into the market, so we have to slow it. What did they do? They will raise interest rate, therefore will slow borrowing, and then the interest will high. Because when interest rate is high, people do not borrow a lot of money because it's high. But interest rate is low, people will love money. So that is what the central bank does. But these French African countries do not have that ability. And yes, they are because they do not control the money and the interest rate. So every time they want to borrow money, they have to borrow money through France as a guarantor. Therefore, that's why some of them have so much high interest rate to pay back the money, because they have to borrow under the rate that the euro presented, because they have no control. They don't have the money. So therefore, France is a guarantor of everything. They are raw materials, because they don't control. They don't have a central bank. They cannot sell their raw materials.
You got 30 seconds.
Therefore, they have to go through France to sell their raw material. And when those raw materials are sold through France, the money goes straight to the French Central Bank, and they only allow 50% of the reserve. This is an academic fact. Anybody who have gone to school, university, have studied the franc Afrique policy will see this. This is not a strict man talk. Every academic, a professor, everyone will know. So anybody who come and tell you anything different from this, even Dr. Rikana has said this in several of her outings.
Hey, I got to pass the mic. Go ahead, Brandon.
Hey, Dynas, can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, you good. Go ahead.
Okay, so Dynas, here's the thing. I'm giving Ibrahim Traoré a chance to deliver on the things that he's promised. I got some reliable information from my brother Afri Damas, and it was enough for me to say, you know what? Let's see if this guy does what he says he's going to do. So I've changed my criticism, and I've removed it from Ibrahim Traoré, and I put it on all these glazers on the internet who are crowning this guy the new messiah of Pan-Africanism. Because it's really silly, Dynas. I give this analogy. Imagine you're on a sports team and you're in the middle of your season and you're 5-5. Now imagine the team captain says, you know what, we're not doing that great, but I'm not going to get the team together, have a players only meeting and address the issues that are keeping us from winning, right? Instead, I'm going to identify a player who's still playing Pop Warner football and say, you know what, let's just wait 10 or 15 years for this kid to get to the NFL, and then we'll be able to have a winning season. That's basically what these fools are doing with Traore. Traore is going about the process of building a nation from scratch. Meanwhile, a bunch of uber rich Negroes all over the world with money in their pockets, significant investment portfolios, are praising him as their new leader. Why is that, Dynas? That's because if we put everything on Traore, we get to sit on our booties in the West, do nothing, and wait for and claim we're waiting for our new king to do everything and lead us to the promised land. This is nothing more than a grift on behalf of Black people all over the West. Ibrahim Traoré just took $37 million from the IMF. Dynas, let's be realistic. If this guy is our new Pan-African Messiah, I bend the knee to King Traoré as my Lord and Savior. I'm telling you that right now, Dynas. Do you not think we have among us $37 million that we could have given Burkina to finance their development? Why is our king having to go to the IMF to get a measly $37 million when we could donate that money and write it off on our taxes at the beginning of next year? It's not really real, Dynas. It's not Traoré who needs to be criticized. It is the people in the West, the Black people in the West, out here telling everybody who is and isn't a Pan-Africanism. I mean, it is a Pan-African and haven't made a single investment in any African country. But they run around the internet just like FBA, trying to act like authorities on who or who is not a real Pan-African. So my challenge to these people who know it all y'all in the comments talking trash, I'm invested in the continent in more ways than you will ever know. Dynas knows what I'm doing. Dynas is invested in the continent. All these garboons who are sitting up here on the panel, in the chat, sitting up trying to pontificate over nonsense, trying to tell people the nuances of investment and global economics. What are you doing personally to further the goals of Pan-Africanism? That I had this challenge to Kala years ago, but Kala he literally delivered on his word by going to invest and build in Liberia. What are you doing? And the reality, Dynas, if you ain't got no investments in Africa, you should just shut the hell up, because you are too far removed from the situation to really approach it objectively and with any type of wisdom. You hate Africa. But I bet you if you build a house in Africa, I bet your ass start looking at Africa totally different when you realize that there's terrorists and everything else who could come take over your stuff, and the African government probably won't do anything about it. So I'm down with Traore. He got my cosign right now because my brothers, some very special people, have persuaded me to support him. I got him. But I'm calling cap on all you goons who's sitting up here trying to tell everybody what is and what it ain't, and you ain't put a penny on the continent. Buy some bonds, bro. Buy some bonds for African governments. If you really believe in him, finance what he's trying to do, not just give lip service because your lips are so big that chapstick had to make a spray. Lip service means nothing. Put your money where your mouth is or shut the heck up.
All right, let me pass it to John. Go ahead, John. John Asa, go ahead, unmute yourself.
Hey, shout out to Dynas. Been watching you for a minute. Shout out to Cuz Cuddy. Been watching you since you landed in Burkina Faso. I'm originally from the Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire. I'm from Totokro. That's in next to Bouaké. I'm an Akan. I'm a Baole. I say all that to say that you may see the Ivory Coast, you may see all the good things, but people don't really know what's happening behind the scenes. Currently, I'm a refugee here in the United States. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about Ibrahim Traoré. I want to ask people, like, why do you think everybody is focused on Ibrahim Traoré and they're not following what's going in Mali and what's going in Niger? Because Mali just recently opened the first munitions factory in all the French-speaking country zones. So I think apart from Mali, only like Nigeria produces its own weapons. So there's a lot of other huge things going on in the region, but a lot of people who think they know what's going on behind the scenes, they don't really know what's going on because you see, Ivory Coast is a shiny country, right? But people are dying right now. You know, I have cousins right now hiding in Ghana and in Togo because y'all have no idea the things that happen. So, you know, that's all I just wanted to say.
So, Donna, you don't mind if I ask the brother a question?
Go ahead.
So, John, so you from the north, right? Like the north, like Bouaké, right?
That's the
So,
central region. That's central.
Bouaké
Bouaké is in the center of the country.
is in the center. So, what part is close to Burkina Faso? Because Bouaké is closer too, right?
We're in the center, like the center means right in the middle. Yamoussoukro Bouaké is literally the center of the country. That's where
Like
the Baule,
The Nufus are in the north. The
because
Muslim.
when I come, well, it's a not. But when I come from Bobo Dioulasso, from Burkina Faso, after we go through Yamoussoukro, we can get to Bouaké.
Yeah, it's right there in the
Yeah.
center of the country. Yes.
Okay, so there was a guy here who was saying that like 200,000 Burkinabe flock to that region, right? So I'm not sure about the numbers, right? Because the government of Ivory Coast, they have a way of doing certain things to undermine Burkina Faso. So I do understand, some people from Burkina Faso did cross the border. I see that, but I just wanted to know if your people, like whatever, like in Ivory Coast, are they talking about it? Like, is that a good main issue in their mind over there?
No, there's not
Okay.
300,000 Burkinabes
Okay.
coming to Ivory Coast because 300,000 is a huge number. Maybe there's
Of
a few
course.
thousand, but 300,000, that's ridiculous. But I can
Mm.
tell you right now, there's Ivorians running out of the country because October is the election, and unfortunately, people
Absolutely.
are going to die.
Absolutely.
People just keep
Absolutely.
talking, but they don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, they're preempting violence for the election. That's why they're leaving. It's not because of current violence in the country.
So you do know, John, right? You do know
The
this is gonna be the
situation is
first. It's gonna be the first time that Alassane Ouattara run for election without the backing of Mali and Burkina Faso. So his back is against the wall, and he
exactly.
doesn't know what to do. So it's gonna be
Exactly.
an interesting election. So what about the excluded Gbagbo? Is that final, or he can appeal the decision?
They're still working on that, but
Okay.
unfortunately, from what we've seen, like in history, unfortunately, I think people will die and bad things will
That's not
happen.
what we want. That's not what we
Yeah,
want, right? You
yeah,
guys been through it for like for quite a minute, so it's
yeah.
gonna
That
add to our issues. That's why we're trying to make sure. I see Burkina can play a role into that because it's a lot of tension going on between the two countries, and we trying to figure out a way out to make sure Ivory Coast doesn't tilt into violence because it's not gonna be good for the two countries. I
exactly,
speak to
and
Ivorian here in my
people
states,
don't
and
understand.
yeah.
One more point: people don't understand. To gain power in Ivory Coast, like you said, you need the backing of Mali and Burkina and the other countries, and also with France. Those are the two ingredients you need to have power in Ivory Coast. And the reason why Ivory Coast was important is because Ivory Coast, the port of Abidjan, was the main port for those countries. But you see, now we turned our back against our brothers, to suffocate them and to snuff them out. So he doesn't have the backing of the Malians and the Burkinabés as in the past. So a lot of interesting things are happening.
Absolutely. So if you have time later, you can talk about the impact of the Burkinabe in the Ivory Coast economy.
All right, FBA Young Lion, thank you for the $1.99 holla. Free Arania from oh God, I'm not reading that. FBA Young Lion, thank you for a $1.99 holla. Free Haiti from barbecue and mud cookies. FBA Young Lion, thank you for $1.99. Thank you for the $1.99 holla. Free Jamaica from the British Crown. All right.
Yeah, there was your brother here earlier. He was saying things about Burkina Faso. At this time, I don't really like. You can have your opinion about Ibrahim Traoré. I don't. That's not what the problem is. For me, the problem is when you lie about a situation, and I know we are
I'm
playing.
still
We are.
here and I'm not lying.
It's survival for us, right? Us coming from that place is survival for us. So we're trying to make sure that all the information that come out of that country, is accurate. That's
Yeah,
what I'm trying to do.
all
And
the
if
real
you
Ivorians, all the real Ivorians are 100% with Ibrahim Traoré.
I
We don't
know,
know
I
All the
know.
way,
about
all the way.
evolution.
Real
Really make
Ivorians who are not in Cote d'Ivoire, yes. Real Ivorians
uh,
who have fled the country, yes. They are with
Non,
Traoré, that's true.
mais attends une minute. On a la famille
laisse-le là.
Abidjan là-bas au pays.
Laisse-le, il est malade.
Because, like, even my own
Sorry, man.
father's house
Everybody is
was
talking in
my
English
own,
here, so
even
let's
my
talk in
own.
English.
Yeah, go ahead. What did you say?
I told the guys
No,
before you came on the live, yes?
so the idea that
That
Ivorian do not support Traore is not true. I live here with Ivorian in my
no,
state.
that's not true. You have some.
Yeah,
No,
Then
I'm not saying
majority
you
of
saying that.
this is how you will know.
Ivorians are on Traore's
This is how
side.
you know that Cote d'Ivoire is a fine place compared to Burkina
Relax.
Faso. In Cote d'Ivoire,
Guy, relax.
people are allowed to support Ibrahim Traoré. Here, people are allowed to support him. You
Right.
see,
Okay,
but
so what's
name
up?
me one person in Burkina Faso who is allowed to support Ouattara. I see a lot of guys here
Because
on
you
the
know the
panel.
landscape.
Ouattara got the
You know
power
the
because of
landscape.
Burkina Faso. So we supported him
Well, come
back in the
on,
day,
we
right?
voted here. There was an election. There was an election in 2010. The majority of the people elected him. This is done
You see,
history. That's
I just don't want us to go back, right?
That's what they say. But
Ouattara,
we're not here. We're
and he
not here
won.
to talk about the
No, we can't.
elections in Ivory Coast.
We're
not
not
only
talking about election.
Yamsoko is not the
Everybody knows
north.
what. No,
Sikensi is
everybody
not the
knows.
north.
No, no, no.
Tiebisu is not
My
the
Everybody.
north.
brother,
No, no.
Demboko
my
is not the
brother.
north.
No.
If we
Everybody
if
knows.
we if,
Everybody knows
if
what
we have a
happened in the
fair, okay,
elections
go
in
ahead.
Ivory Coast in 2010. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm going to say there's more than 3 million Ivorians not living in Ivory Coast because of the elections of 2010. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah,
lot of
a
refugees in
lot of
Ghana and
crews,
other places.
fled to Liberia and other places because they
Yeah,
supported
No,
in Ghana.
Gbagbo.
Elvis, you don't know
Exactly.
the situation on the ground. So everything that glitters is not gold. Let's just put it like that.
No, they were putting
What
they
the,
were putting
Do you hear what I
Ivory
said?
Coast on the spotlight, which is good because that's his opinion. I didn't get to
no,
join
it's not my
the live
opinion.
because
It's not my
no,
opinion. Listen, the Russian government has forbidden its people to fly to Mali or Burkina Faso. They haven't done so for
the
Cote
what
d'Ivoire. And I'm talking
the
about the
what
Russian government. The Russian
the Russian
government.
government has done what?
Because of the yes, because they said it's a red notice for Russian citizens to fly to Burkina Faso or Mali because of the
So the,
advancement
the
of
Russian are
terrorists.
preventing the people to fly to Ivory Coast.
No, they
I'm
are
sorry.
not. Russia is
You
the
saying
ninth
that
economic.
Burkina
Russia,
Faso, not
Russia,
Ivory Coast.
yes,
Where's the
Burkina
source?
Faso and Mali because of
I'm hearing that
terrorism.
it's a delay. There's a delay here. So
Where's the source?
okay,
Okay,
Show
so
us the
I'll
source.
say it again. I'll say it one last time. The Russian government, the source is Sputnik or Russia Today. You can go
okay.
on
What
Russia
did they
Today. You
say?
can go on Google. You type Russia. They said they forbid their people to go to Mali or Burkina Faso because of the advancement of terrorist groups, and they haven't done so for Cote d'Ivoire. In fact, Russia is the eighth economic partner of Cote d'Ivoire.
No, so Ivory Coast is stable. So why would they do that for Ivory Coast?
Well,
It's
you
a
guys
travel
said that
advisory. It's a
things were going
travel.
so
It's a
well.
travel.
You,
It's a
yeah,
travel
but if
advisory for
things
the citizen of a particular country. Advisory doesn't
okay,
mean
but
you
if
shouldn't
things are
go.
going
It's
so
an
well,
advisory,
The
okay,
United States just advised not to go to Ghana. Ghana is the
right?
safest country in West Africa.
Of
That's a
course,
fact.
it's an travel advisory. So it's up to you to go or not to go. Ibrahim Traoré addressed that when it comes to the Air France, right? You remember when they were trying to paint Burkina in red, they said the terrorists were going to the capital and they were going to the capital of Mali. Therefore, they had to paint Burkina in red. So which prompted Air France to leave Burkina Faso. So we had a bilateral agreement with the companies. So they decided on their own to leave Burkina Faso. Guess what happened, my man? Against their own advisory, Air France want to come to Burkina and Mali and Niger. So they're trying to debunk their own word. So sometimes you gotta understand they play mind game with people. So you gotta put yourself to work. They're
um,
asking these government to come back. So
Gee,
Traore told them,
don't
"You
mind
the
it.
one who painted the country in red.
But
Remove
say,
that
James,
sign
is
and then
Burkina
come
Faso
back."
safe? Is Burkina Faso safe right now?
It's safe to travel. I can tell you that.
Okay, all right.
Why this company
Yes,
wants about? I
because
gave you an example about Air France, right? They left on their own accord and they want to come back. If it wasn't safe, why they want to come back? Elvis, why they want to come back? Don't take my word for it. Take their own word for it.
You said there's
sorry, sir.
40% of the country that's being controlled by jihadis, right?
I'm sorry,
where did you see
You
that
said it
France
was
want to come back?
40% of the country that's being controlled by jihadis, right? And
Elvis.
there's an
They are
ongoing
not
war.
in the city. They are not fighting in cities.
No,
That's the
no,
Sahel. They are not fighting in cities.
jihadists are controlling 70% of Burkina Faso. 70.
Hell
The
to the
government
hell to
only
the
controls Bobo
hell
Dioulasso,
no.
Bobo
Hell
Dioulasso
no.
and Ouagadougou. Listen,
Are you serious?
tomorrow,
Hey, that's what I read
tomorrow,
too.
Ibrahim Traoré cannot go to to
Hey,
Diapaga. He
hey,
cannot go to
you
Cholengé.
guys,
He cannot
hey, you
go.
guys,
He cannot go to
hey,
Diapaga. He
So
cannot
you
go to
went to
Solenzo. He cannot go to
Please
Bafoussam.
give
Those are
excuse
places.
me,
Those are places.
excuse
Those
me.
are
please
places
give
He
of
wasn't
Burkina
saying
Faso where
that.
Ibrahim Traoré cannot go.
Hold on, let me back to Mike to Brandon. Go, Brandon. Go ahead, Brandon.
Listen, from what I read and what I asked Gemini, terrorists they say are controlling 60% of Burkina Faso. So
Thank you.
you guys can keep laughing.
where's your
Oh no,
source?
they're not. Abraham Traore has lost ground,
Brandon,
and I'm support.
where's your
Wait a minute,
source,
bro.
Brandon?
Wait a minute,
Where's your
brother. Wait a
Brandon?
minute. This is you can go look this up. I
I'm
don't
here.
ever lie.
Where?
Wait a minute.
Where?
Wait a
Where?
minute.
Where? Tell me
I'm
where.
here.
Where's your
Dennis,
source?
can you shut this guy up?
Tell me.
Can you shut this guy up? Can you listen? You show us your source that they don't control 60%. How about that? Because when
You
you
made a
said what
statement. Show us the
listen,
source. I want to read.
listen,
I
man.
want to learn. I want to
Do
learn
you
from you. I
guys
want to
do you
learn.
guys
Just show me the source.
do you
The
guys notice? Do you guys notice that whenever you say something that these people don't want to believe, a brother just said that. I came to confirm it. We clearly understand and have been looking into it. This guy doesn't want to believe it. I don't gain anything from terrorists
but
taking Burkina
Brandon,
Faso. But
Thank
wait a
you.
minute, bro. Wait
but
a minute.
Brandon,
Wait a
you
minute.
have to.
Wait, bro. Dinus gave me the floor, bro. So be quiet. This is what I'm saying.
Honest man.
We
Ask me to
have
show the source,
we
man.
have to be listen. We have to be serious and honest about the situation. A lot of you guys are in your feelings so much that you're willing to deny facts. I just said that Burkina took a $37 million IMF loan. They said people in the comments, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. That just means they're emotional. Everything I say can be backed up, and I'm going to post a link in the back chat just for you.
Okay.
But everyone who's
Brendan,
truly doing
I'm gonna
research
support what you say.
understands
Even
this.
the Burkina Faso
Hey,
government
guys,
said that they got
let
the
me read,
loan through IMF.
let me read these super chats. FBA Online, thank you for the $1.99 holla. Like this comment is Bucci is a fake panty. Okay. FBA Online, thank you for the $1.99 holla. Free Jamaica from bleaching cream. Spellcaster, thank you for the $2 Canadian. Diners, watch the movie Mark for Death.
Dinus, can I just say one thing, then I'll hop off?
Go ahead.
So Brandon and everybody who's talking about terrorists occupying the different parts of the countries and things like that, right? So ask Cuz Cuddy, when was the last time there was a terrorist attack in Ouagadougou?
Thank you, family. Cause these talking about what they read. They just look. They so smart. They stupid.
60% of the country is not
Boy,
100% of
shut
the
up.
country.
You so smart. You're stupid, boy.
I say all
I'm
this to
here.
say
Ouagadougou is the capital, right? They're not in the
Hey,
capital. Nobody's saying that.
It's a few
He's
little.
talking to Cuddy.
listen.
Cuddy, answer
Let
the
me
question, Cuddy.
let me finish
It's
and
a
I'll
few
hop
little
off.
heads running around, but that 70%. I say the terrorists probably run 2% in the woods somewhere. They run and
Exactly.
hide. They
Exactly.
not putting up a fight.
Because
I was
hold up,
even trying to be
hold up.
humble, right?
Let me
I was
finish.
trying to be humble, but we're not gonna play a numbers game, right?
Hold up. Let me finish. Because before Ibrahim Traoré took power, there were attacks in Ouagadougou. So over there, we can already see the progress. In 2015, there was a major attack that killed more than 57 people. So right now, out in the countryside, a few weeks ago, there was a major terrorist attack, I think on a military base. They killed a lot of soldiers, but they bounced back and they took their revenge. So the terrorists are attacking sporadically in different regions, but
And
they're
you want
not
to know where
holding.
they're coming from?
They're not. They're coming from the Sahel region and
No,
from the
they're coming
north.
from the Ivory Coast, brother.
Oh yeah. I don't even doubt that.
They're not
So
coming from the Sahel. Them boys been wiped out.
Thank you.
They coming from the
Exactly.
Ivory
so
Coast.
so they
They
don't
getting
hold
Let's
it.
paid.
do.
So
You know
they
when
don't
they
hold.
kill these boys, matter of fact, I
They,
got videos
How
on
do
my
they
phone
come
right
from the
now.
Ivory
I
Coast
I
if
agree.
the
got
Ivory
And
videos
Coast
on
is
my
south
phone right
and
now.
the
I'm
heat
dead
north?
one
terrorists,
more
boy.
thing. One more thing,
They're
and I'm gonna
coming
hop
from
off.
Mali, my brother. What
One
are
more
you
thing.
They
talking
coming
about?
from Ivory
One more
Coast.
thing.
I'm here.
One more thing. One more thing. I'm a hop off. So terrorists,
I got what you ain't got.
listen. Terrorists don't fight like men. They come, they kill women and children, they bomb the place, and they dip. So
Coupe, décalé, cut and run. That's what they do. We know that.
they're not holding the
Elvis,
territory. They're not
if
holding
they
the
have
territory.
60% of our land, over 60%,
They don't
I
have
want
the land.
people who
I
are
didn't
paying
say that. I said
attention to. No,
40%.
no,
I went with
I
your
give it.
numbers.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
went
Let,
with
let
your
me let me
numbers.
make
Thank you
let
for
me
your
make my
time,
point,
Daniel.
right?
Shout out to
If
Cuz
you look
Cuddy.
back,
Free Burkina Faso, free Africa, free
5
guys.
years ago,
Love.
right? 5 years ago in 2020, 2021. If you look at the situation in Burkina Faso, the terrorists themselves, they were filming their conquests. They were filming everything. You know what I'm saying? And they were showing even our people running from the fight. You understand? When Traore and them came back, no more videos. Why's that? Why they don't have no propaganda to show?
Hey, St.
Brother, I'm
James.
not saying the terrorists are
No,
winning,
no,
and I'm not in favor
I'm
of the
not saying you,
terrorists
right?
winning.
Hey,
I'm
St.
just saying
People,
James.
the country is
Let me
unstable
tell
right
you
now. That's what
right?
I'm
So
saying.
those people,
let me
who are
say
still
tell
not
you this, St. James.
see those people who still don't believe things. I'm not here to give you a percentage. I gave you the percentage based on what the government said and based on what my community and the people that live in those areas are saying. If you chose not to believe, that's fine. But I gave you an example. These people, they love to film things. They love to show a city in disarray. When they take over, they film everything. They chastise the government. They tell them to come fight. They used to do that in 2020. In 2021, we were walking the shame heads now because the video, it wasn't looking good. But today, they don't have those videos to show for. Why? Because we are tracking them, killing them. They're crossing border. They're going to Benin. Some of them are going to Ivory Coast. It's a different ball game. So if you still believe 60% of my country is controlled by the terrorists, please keep believing. I will even tell you we control 1% of our country. Would you like that? I hope you
Hey,
do. We only
hey,
control
St.
1%.
James.
That allow Cuddy to call you on the stable internet, right? Stable internet, talking to you, and you still don't want to believe him. Go for that.
St. James, I got a link for us, bro. All they got to do, if they were so smart, they would turn their subtitles on their YouTube channel and go to
Yeah.
Faso 7 TVs and watch the terrorists. Every time they stick their head out, they get bombs dropped on it every day.
Right.
It's on TV, on YouTube, at
Right.
Faso 7. Go watch it. That's your reference right there. Instead of listening to what you hearing a white man tell you, house
And you know what
slave.
Cuddy, you know what they used to do when they get into a town? They cut all the wire connection.
that rely that connect cities, electricity wise, water wise. They cut everything off. Even the internet, they cut everything off.
But
You
they're
know,
not doing
so
that
So,
to
people,
create
guy, let's
negative
ask
why
Guy,
they
right?
can't why we don't have those problems in 2020? We
St.
had those
James,
problems.
St. James, 1 second, Guy.
they knows,
I
right?
I talked to St. James extensively on this issue. I tend to believe some of the information he gave me. He said 40% or 30%. I give him
I
that.
just gave you a
What is
little
your
bit.
reliance, Guy, that over 70% or over 60% of the country is held by terrorists?
Uh,
Is okay.
my
You know when
source
the
is
okay.
my source.
I
Hello.
So
okay.
smart they
Go ahead. Go ahead.
stupid,
Go ahead.
bro.
Yes,
So smart
my
they
source
stupid.
is a site called ACLED. ACLED. ACLED.org.
Fox 07
You go on
TV is a
ACLED.
news network here.
No, ACLED is not a news network. ACLED is a group of independent journalists. There are 27 journalists. They come from all over the world. Okay, they come from Finland, Sweden, Mexico, Venezuela, Japan, and they do reports about terrorist
House
attack and
play.
crimes in general on the world. And ACLED is the one they are documenting every single terrorist attack. They are documenting every single places where government control. They don't only work for Africa. They work on Mexico. They
God,
work on Mexican cartels. So if you go on ACLED, you type Burkina Faso ACLED terrorist report, and you will see the latest one has been done in March of this year. So you go on ACLED, and you'll see. Or if you want, I can put the link in the chat.
you know
Thank you.
sometime, guy, right? You know how they get
Dynasty,
the. You know how they get the data. Do you know how they get it? Do you have an idea how
Dynasty.
they get it?
Hey, Dynasty. We got reliable sources. I'm getting my stuff from Visions of Humanity, which is a organization that helps uh, give money to people who are victims of terrorist attacks. Here's the thing: have you ever saw the movie Coming to America? Remember the part where the girl goes in to the hey, somebody needs to mute up. Somebody needs to mute up. Whoever's got noise. Listen, we all saw the movie Coming to America when the girl goes to the community meeting and she talks about the real issues that the community is suffering from, and then the preacher who supports the do nothing politician gets on stage and he starts talking in that certain tone and all the theatrics. That's Cuz Cuddy. This and that. Now he think if he throw on Negro speak that makes it true. Everything this dude is saying is based on turn on the TV and look at this. And all my uncles and shit talk like that. But then Google and AI and basic reading skills showed us that you shouldn't listen to people like that because they're not doing research or tapping in with reliable sources. Their only job is to use theatrics to be convincing. This dude doesn't even know basic history when it comes to Africa or even America. There's nobody on earth. All these people up here, Elvis, these different guys, even St. James, I at least know these people are well read and they know how to find information because I've been debating these people for years, whooping their ass. This guy couldn't even tell you the capital of the country right next to Burkina Faso. I don't believe any of that because I've been around Black Americans.
Well, try me then.
Wait a minute.
Smart belly.
I've been around Black Americans more than anybody. Remember when JT the Bigger Figure was in Burkina and he was real convincing telling y'all to go there. By the time y'all got there, he was gone to Kenya. And then he went to Kenya and ran a scam. He was real convincing. Now he's back in San Francisco. I don't believe any of these type of dudes when they say what they say because they don't even have the ethic enough to go look it up and research it. They don't even research it. No one even knew about the IMF thing. I broke that. I'm breaking there was just a terrorist attack in August that killed 200 people. And then the brother said there's one in March. I'm going to go look up a Claude. I'm going to go do the research, see if I see what he says. How many of these people up here are going to do that? If you are a person working on emotions, you're only going to go along with whatever you want to hear. You are afraid of the truth and the facts. That is your error. Me, I don't really, it doesn't hurt me either way if Ibrahim Traoré is successful or not. I hope he's successful for the sake of Burkina, but really it doesn't change much in my life. So I'm just looking at it objectively. The truth will set you free. But this lying and this con game and this refusal to acknowledge the facts, that's not going to get us nowhere. That's going to make Burkina go from being 60% controlled by terrorists to 85, then 100% control. Because if you must first admit you have a problem so you can solve it. But if you won't even admit that there's a problem, you're going to let the problem consume you. That's all. And black people been doing that shit for years. We did the same thing in the black community. Oh, ain't nothing wrong with our community. It's going to be okay. Now we ain't even got no communities. Why? Because we rather denial is more than just a river in Egypt. And black people retreat into denial unlike any other. But my grandma used to say this: it's gonna tell on you before you tell on it. We gonna find out the truth about Burkina Faso. Let's hope we don't find out the truth. Let's hope that when we find out the truth, it's not too late.
Diners, can I go before I go off? Can I?
Yeah, go ahead. Nobody's on the floor.
Okay, all right. So, well, I agree with Brandon. Okay. Now, if we are to say that Burkina Faso has control of 99% of their territory, do you think we would be hearing that news from Kati, or we'll be hearing it from the government of Burkina Faso? Okay. Now, if the media,
I think he was being hyperbolic and disingenuous. He wasn't being serious.
okay, well, I think he was actually trying to,
He was just lying. He was just lying, plain and simple.
yeah. And so that's the first thing. Okay. The
Now,
second
wait.
thing,
Can I
okay,
interject?
is
Can I interject real quick? Now, let me ask y'all a question. I'm Black American. I miss my family at home. Do you really think that if 70 to 80% of this country was controlled by head choppers, do you really think that I would be here doing business? Come on, bruh. Let's be honest. Let's be serious.
I don't believe it is 70%.
Bro, you making
I
fake
think it's
news,
closer
bro.
to 30 or
How
40.
far outside of the place you are do you travel on a regular basis, Cuddy? How far?
Man, I move around the city, man. I go to Low Burkina Faso right next to Ghana where they got the shea butter. I done traveled, I done rode the bus from here to Ghana to your home country, Liberia. The bus, brother.
Yeah, but that place is safe,
Ain't none of y'all never did that. But I had to ride through
that place is safe.
I had
Yeah,
to ride through
it means that it's not part of the percentage of the places that's controlled by the jihadists. That's all.
Hold on.
Do you know where they control
Hold on.
that?
I was on the floor before Kari came in. Kari, let me say something.
Then,
Okay,
my point is
that part is safe. Every day, Ghanaians are moving in and out of Burkina Faso. So, as for the southern part of Burkina Faso, is relatively more safe. So that's not even the issue. The second thing that I want to say on the issue of the CFA, one person brought up my name on that issue. So I want to say that, and then I will be out of here. Okay, he said that the CFA, unlike the central banks of Ghana and Nigeria, doesn't have control over its monetary policy. It's unable to print money to increase the money supply as it wants, whereas Ghana can. Now, the first thing that he should know is that when you have a fixed currency, when your currency is fixed to another currency, the first thing that goes out the window is an independent monetary policy. You no longer have a monetary policy. You now have what is called an exchange rate policy. There's two central banks in the CFA, the one in West Africa and the one in Central Africa. Their main goal, in fact, their only goal, is to maintain the exchange rate between the CFA and the euro. So they don't increase the money supply or decrease the money supply unless it is to maintain the exchange rate. So that's the first thing that you should understand. They don't have an independent monetary policy. They have an exchange rate policy. That's it. Thanks.
Man, I got a question for you before you leave, right? It's not like I just want to give an information, right? So when Kadi was saying that he took the bus to Ghana, and you say that's the safest spot, right? I know that's it's safe to go there. and he said he took the bus to Liberia. Safe to go there. And do you think going from Burkina Faso to Niger, it is safe to go there by bus?
I've never traveled from Burkina Faso to.
So based on the information that you have, do you think it's safe to go to Niger by bus from Burkina and Mali by bus? Do you think it's safe?
I'm saying I don't know that. I've not.
So you don't have the information.
No,
so you don't have the information.
No,
but you have the information as it pertains to Ghana because you're from Ghana, right?
Not only am I from Ghana, I am from the border. I'm from the border town called Paga.
No, it's for a broader conversation as it relates to security in West Africa. That's why I'm asking the question. So when it comes to Burkina Faso, in relation to the security in West Africa, so do we try to get more information about, you know, that particular topic I'm talking about? If it's safe for Burkinabés to go to Mali, to go to Niger by bus, have you tried to see if that's possible right now?
But
I'm here to tell you.
Burkina Faso. I was in Burkina Faso. Okay, just let me see. About in March, I was in Burkina Faso in March.
This year.
This year. I took the motorbike. Okay, from Ghana, Paga, into Burkina Faso.
Still near Ghana. Still near Ghana.
Every day people are trooping from Ghana into Burkina Faso and from Burkina Faso into Ghana. That
all day, every day,
of the country. All day,
yes, I agree with
very
that.
safe.
Let them get the words out. Stop ad-libbing.
That part of the country is very safe. Then you can travel from the hinterlands in Paga. So let's say you are in Pagabru. You move to Kaya in Burkina Faso. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes. Okay.
Did you go to Kaya?
It's very safe.
Did you go to Kaya?
It's very safe.
Kaya is close. Kaya, after Kaya, you have the Sahel. This is where my people from. If you've been to Kaya, that means it's safe all the way from Ghana to Kaya. Correct?
Listen.
Kaya, after Kaya, you are heading to Nigeria.
I'm not talking about the Kaya.
No, Afro man, I'm not debating you. I'm just confirming information here.
You are wrong. And I'm trying to tell you, and you're still talking. The Kaya that I'm talking about, Kaya that I'm talking about is not the Kaya that is close to Ouagadougou. The Kaya I'm talking about.
Yes, it's 1 hour. 1 hour to Ouagadougou. That's my village.
Can you listen to what I'm saying?
But sir, if you have nothing to say, don't say it. That's whatever, man.
I'm saying, I'm listening.
James, give him a chance to speak. James, let him speak.
I'm not even going to waste my time.
I'm concurring with him and he's trying to debate.
Bro, you literally asked him a question. You asked the man a question. He tried to answer you.
Who asked you to come in between us? Who asked you? Who asked you?
Let me tell you something.
Man, you don't tell me nothing, man. You keep it to yourself. I don't want to hear it.
I know you don't, but you're gonna hear it.
Don't talk to me. Talk to the panel.
Okay, I'll talk to the panel. If Ibrahim Traoré had taken more land from the terrorists, he would be screaming that shit from the mountaintops. He is quiet about that battle with the terrorists because he's losing ground. Leaders let you know when they've done something good. That is a characteristic of leadership. If bro was controlling 85% of Burkina, you would have heard about it by now from his own mouth. He would have had a parade. He would have been telling everybody. He's quiet on that issue.
And nobody cared about what you gotta say, man. I already told you that two lives ago. I don't care about your opinion.
Well, it's not about you.
You talk to the panel. You talk to the panel and the chat. Don't address me. I don't need your opinion.
You guys talk like we are church or we are the mosque. No, we are not believers. You state facts. You give me a source. You point to it. I go and look at it, and if it's convincing, I'm coming back and I'm saying, okay, this is a good source. But you have zero source. You just talk it out of your mouth, and you are supposed to be. Sorry, pastor. We're not gonna believe.
Yeah.
Got it. You understand what I was trying to ask Afro Man, right? He said he took he got from Ghana, came to the capital, and he's talking about Kaya. Kaya is all the way in the Sahel.
This guy's a big idiot. This guy's
no. Afro Man.
He didn't say he went to the capital, James. He never said he went to the capital.
Okay, this is a
Ouagadougou.
delay
If
here,
you had
so I'm trying
listened
to.
and you had
Y'all
common
boys so
sense,
smart, y'all
you would have
stupid.
heard me.
So
If
do
you
you
had
have a
listened and
problem in
had common
life when you
sense,
want
you'd
to
have heard me.
debate everybody? I'm asking you. If I didn't understand you quite clearly, you tell me I didn't hear you. There is a delay coming here, so I don't hear you correctly.
Well, then shut up and listen. I think that will help you.
Sir, please. I'm not gonna shut up. I'm not your kid. I don't want to get
Well,
disrespectful.
you
I
act
can't
like
do
one.
that right now because I want to respect the
You
panel.
act
You're
like
not
one.
gonna talk to me that way. First of all, you're not gonna
You act
talk
like
to me
one.
that way. You get it? You get it?
Oh,
Did you get it? Don't
I will
talk to me
talk to
that
you the
way.
way you
That's
are
not
one.
your that's
If you
not
want
your
to behave
life.
like a
I'm
kid,
not your kid.
then you
Listen
behave
to
like
me.
a kid.
I'm not gonna shut up to you. You understand? You go tell that to your children. Go tell that to your children.
Let's be
Okay?
respectful to each other,
I'm
gentlemen.
telling
The
it to you.
conversation is
Go
going
tell
well.
that
I'm
to your
telling it to
children.
you.
Don't tell me to shut up
I'm
again.
telling it to
Okay,
you.
King James, we got it. Let him get a chance to speak, please.
You can't talk to me when I'm in front of you, sir. You can't do that.
King James, let him speak,
So you
please.
shut up.
I told you
I
to
got a
shut up.
question for the
Take it or leave
panel.
it.
I got a question for all these economists and educated gentlemen. How many of y'all
Yeah, those of us who actually build
got
it.
resources
Those of
and
us who actually
products?
build the country.
How many of y'all have
Look
resources
at
and
this.
products? Bring them to the internet. I challenge you. How many of y'all? None? So y'all
It's
some
midnight where I
intelligent,
am. You
useful
want me to
idiots?
go to my shop and bring you my products?
No, yeah, show some videos or something. Cam up.
He
Show some
can't come up,
products and
Cuddy.
some
He's
resources.
not going to come up. He was the one over here giving all the false information he can
You
get.
too, Brandon.
Man, we know this dude, man. Don't sit here and pretend, man.
Yeah. Because
Don't
all
do
this
that. We
intelligent
know
talk,
you,
these
man.
guys
Ain't no
Googling and
Ghanaian, no real
they
Ghanaian who got law for Burkina Faso is going to go ahead and do that. They're not doing that, sir.
they
Dude, you're trying.
economists and
Listen, man, you're trying to move the goal.
because they
You
got
listen.
degrees from white folks.
It's been proven that you don't know anything, so you're
Show me
trying to
some
move the
products and
goalposts.
Now,
resources that
sir,
You're
you
trying
got
to
a
move the
YouTube channel. You
goalposts.
make money off of YouTube. Go make some money,
Right,
man.
right.
Go
Yeah.
squat. Go
Hey, bro,
squat on your
say
channel
James.
and make money.
Hey, James, you just told someone don't disrespect you like you're a kid, but you're trying to do the same thing to me, bro. I know you're
I
hurt. I
told you,
know
how
you're in
many
your
times did I
feelings.
tell you don't address me?
You
How
need,
many times
you
did I tell
need
you
to
address
chill,
the
bro.
panel? How
You
many
need to
times?
chill. You need to chill,
You
bro.
chill too. How many
You need
times I
to
told you
chill.
don't address me? Address
I
the
wasn't
panel.
even talking to you, clown. I was talking to Cuddy.
Man, your dad is a
Say
clown,
James.
sir.
Cuddy.
Your dad is
Say James.
a clown. That's why they got you. Your dad is a clown.
Okay, that's fine. But I wasn't
Man,
even talking to
Brandon,
you
a useful
anyway.
idiot, man.
your
Listen,
dad is
man.
a clown, sir.
Listen, a hit dog is gonna holler every time.
Between me and you, your daddy will pick me.
This man knows that what we're saying is true, and he's so emotional about it that he
That's
wants to
fine.
resort to
Okay, listen.
personal
I
attack.
already told you your
It's not,
opinion don't matter to me.
it's
You
not
force
my
yourself
fault.
into a conversation, and I
Listen,
already told you
it's
you
not
are
my
entitled to
fault.
have your opinion. You
So
are
why you
entitled to
keeping it
have
away
your
from me?
opinion
So
and
why you
spread your
keeping it away from
opinion.
me?
I don't have a problem with that.
I just got back. Go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead,
So
Brandon.
yeah, shut your mouth. Exactly. So what I'm saying is this, Cuddy, you're moving the goalposts because you've been proven to not know what you're talking about. Bro, you can go look up the U.S. Embassy in Burkina's website. They're telling you what's going on there. Why does the United States
Why would I
need
listen
to
to them?
wait a minute? I'm not talking to you. They're a more
You call
reliable
my name.
source. They
Why would
are
I
a
listen to
more
them?
they
They're
are
great
a
job.
more
Okay,
they
okay.
are
If
a
you come
more
from the US, you can use the Russian embassy.
they
Use the
are
Russian embassy. Use the
they
Russian.
They are a more reliable source for the safety of Americans than hearsay. And some dude said, just look on the TV, right? This is about we're not in the on the playground. This is serious because the nonsense you guys are telling people reminds me of the nonsense people were saying when they were telling people to come to Gambia and buy land, and people was getting scammed, and the people who was telling them to come turned out to be con artists. It was a lot of hearsay. It was a lot of you gonna believe the USA and all this. Listen, man, the United States doesn't give a damn about Burkina Faso. You got nothing that they want. We got Congo begging the US to come in there to get mineral deals. Okay, so Burkina ain't nowhere near as wealthy as Congo. So stop with this. The United States is doing propaganda, all this nonsense. The reality is Ibrahim Traoré, as a leader, took over for security. saying he needs to fight the terrorists. If bro beat back the terrorists 10%, he's going to report on it. Right now, you cannot find a report out of Burkina about the state of their country when it comes to terrorism. That tells us, knowledgeable adults who understand the way politics work, he's not having a lot of success. That's all that means. We're not judging the guy. He can't do everything in 1 week. All I'm saying is he's clear.
The more Len Traore lose, the better the people love him. So let's go by that, right? Since the people of that land are stupid, right?
Listen,
you got to land. You got 30 seconds.
Okay, I'm going to land. Listen, Ibrahim Traoré is fighting the terrorists. They haven't been able to get rid of those terrorists for 20 years. He's not going to get rid of the terrorists overnight. But that doesn't mean we have to lie about the situation. Because if you lie, we can't handle it or donate money. The first thing that guy needs to do is set up some type of donation site so we can help them get the weapons and stuff they need to be. They need drones right now. They need drones. That's what the France took away from Burkina when they left. They need drones. Why do we finance some drones? You don't listen to this dude looking like a stray dog. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Just know what it takes to beat back terrorists. How do we deal with the terrorism issue in Kenya? Just do that. That works. But we don't want to do that because we matter.
30 seconds is up.
While everyone is living in the
30
West
seconds
under
is
the
up.
city of the United States of America.
30 seconds is up.
Hey, guy, you got a lot of background noise. Let me read these super chats. FBA Young Line, thank you for the $1.99 holla. Kwame's mother is my favorite throat baby. Lee Clint, thank you for the $5 holla. Brandon, I googled your 37 million. It is nowhere to be found. Lion Champion, thank you for your £2. Brandon lies as much as he breathes. KJ, thank you for the $4.99 holla. It is reported that 60% of Burkina Faso is under government control, implying that the remaining 40% is contested by insurgents. One Way, thank you for the $4.99 holla. The black anti-Traore crowd feels that he and once he stands for possesses a threat to their future ability to leverage the U.S. dollar in Africa.
Donis, can I talk?
Go ahead, say James.
Okay, Cuddy. There's a little delay here where I'm from, right? I'm trying to give it an example, right? When this guy was talking about Ghana, he said he came from Ghana to Burkina Faso, right? What I was trying to say is that them calling this area safer, when you talk about Burkina, Mali, and Niger, this is special. This is the Sahel, right? As we speak right now, you can listen to a foreign news media talking about Burkina is not safe, right? On a day-to-day basis, you have people from Burkina Faso going to Mali by bus. You got people going from Burkina to Niger by bus. Is it safe? No, but you still have businesses being conducted between those areas. You see what I'm saying? But it's still not under control 100% by the government, but people are still doing business. That right there, you can check it out. So when these people are talking about, oh yeah, it's not safe, Cuddy, I'm not here to debate a black American who get his news from whatever that is talking about is safe or is more accurate. That's not my job. Whatever he believes in, that's what he believes in. I get that. But where I'm from, I gotta go by what my people are saying. So you cannot take that away from me. If you want to believe your medias, your whatever, whoever's giving you the information, believe that. 2 lives ago, I told this man over here, don't address me because we're done talking. You know, whatever opinion that you have about Traore or Burkina Faso, you are a free man. You can go ahead and do that. Don't address me because you're trying to antagonize me. I don't want to be antagonized. I don't come on here trying to antagonize people over my own country.
The truth is antagonizing you?
Donis, why are you cutting me off? Why are you cutting me off, man?
Brandon, let him finish, Brandon. Go ahead. Say James. You got
okay, Cuddy. Oh my God. Prior to Traore, right? The president that was there, people loved him, right? People respected him at first, right? For the first 6 months. When they found out the guy wasn't doing the things he was doing, right? The people, when Traore came, right? They backed up Traore, right? The same thing will happen to Traore. That's what I was telling these people. If you lose more territories to these people, it's going to be difficult for the people to back you up. The people are not stupid. The more land you lose, these people will walk away from you. That's natural. So you are telling me today that the more land Traore loses, the more love he gets from my people. So technically, you are telling me my people are dumb. That's what you're telling me, and I'm not gonna side with that.
Brandon, let him finish.
I'm not gonna side with that. Whatever you get your news from, please keep getting it from these sources. I have my own sources, and I do my own due diligence. I can compare data and make my own analysis. That's it. If you don't believe me, that's fine. I don't want you here to antagonize me, sir. Don't do that. You come on here, you want to talk to the chat and the panelists, do that. I don't want you to address me directly. Please don't.
Hey,
Dinus, can I respond, please?
Well, let Cuddy talk. Then I'll pass it to you. Go ahead, Cuddy.
All right.
You know what's crazy, St. James? They getting all the late news. They talking about old stuff. That's what's crazy, because the terrorists, let me tell you what's going on in Burkina Faso. The terrorists have basically been defeated. They found out that France and America and other European countries have been funding the terrorists, because when they would catch the terrorists and kill them, they would find money, American money and French euros on them, because France don't even use the franc. They use euros. So they got that out the way. Now it's back to business. That's why eBay is the big problem, because he's cutting them off from resources. Like I told y'all, I'm here into precious metals and resources. If it wasn't safe, do you think it'd be safe for me to be out here, out and about, collecting resources? Oh, and Dinus, your piece is getting made too right now, by the way. So be ready for that. I'm in on Instagram for your address to send it to you.
Appreciate it.
I want you to do your homework on blue jadeite. Let me catch y'all up on some business, on how to get some money, since I got so many intelligent dummies on here. If Dinus don't mind, you want to pull it up, Dinus? What is the value of blue jadeite and how rare is it? This is what they fighting over, what I got in my hand right now. Rare earths and gemstones and stuff like that. So y'all need to catch up. While y'all talking about old spilled milk, y'all not even paying attention. Y'all lagging behind. We doing business out here. It's back to getting business now. See, while America is falling, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are rising by taking control of their resources. So when the dollar dies, it's a fallback option already. They don't got to rely on, oh, what are we going to do? Oh, my God. They got a backup option called the Sierra, and it's going to be backed up by gold and rare earth minerals. So y'all better get y'all game up while y'all country is crumbling in front of everybody's face.
All right, go ahead, Brandon.
That's all I got to say.
Okay, is the minstrel show over? Okay,
No,
this is what's going on. In 2023, the IMF gave Burkina Faso a $303 million loan. Ibrahim Traoré took over 10 days after the loan was approved, and the first installment of the loan, $38 million, was given to the Traoré-run government the following year in 2024. The Burkina Faso has just been approved for another loan from the IMF at the request of Ibrahim Traoré for $37 million. So when someone like Cuz Cuddy gets on here sounding like a washed up preacher talking about the United States dollar is crumbling and all that, these IMF loans are given in USD. Okay, so everything Traoré does, he's already contributing to the strength of the dollar. A lot of that gold will be converted and used to pay back the loans he took from the IMF, which are in USD. The more you guys bury your heads in the sand, the more you try to reduce this to mythology and lore, the more ignorant you sound. This guy, St. James, is angry because he knows the reality is we've seen this story unfold before, where certain strong men, I'm not going to call him a dictator, strong men emerge and they tend to take control of the resources of a country, and they increase their personal wealth, and the country relatively stays the same. I'm not saying that's what Traoré is doing. What I'm saying is, if you look at the evidence, if you look at the facts, it does not look like Traore is having a lot of success against the terrorists. What I'm believing is going to happen is Traore, if the terrorists take more ground, he's going to try to sign a security deal with Russia once they're done in Ukraine. That's what it's already looking like, because he's going to ask for help when those gold mines are threatened. And there's nothing wrong with him doing that. You people don't understand the burden of leadership, because all you do is follow propaganda and victimhood across the internet all damn day. That's what you
Now,
do. So
this
I don't,
live, this live,
I'm
man,
not,
as this goes on, man,
wait,
this is a
wait,
sideshow for Brandon to
I'm
come
not,
here and just
hey,
spew.
hey, hey,
It's
hey,
a
hey, listen,
sideshow for you to
listen,
spew. That's
listen,
it.
man,
Keep
listen,
spewing.
James. He's making a good point. Let him finish.
it's my turn to
Just keep
speak.
spewing.
It's my turn to speak. What I'm
Yeah.
telling you is, when
I'm gonna
I
cut you
talk
back.
to
You cut me once, I
when
cut you once too.
okay,
That's what
thank
it
you, my
is.
brother. You know,
Yeah.
St. James, I really like you a lot, bro. Like, I don't
No,
have no
I do too.
animosity.
I do too. That's why we go at it, right? I do too.
But listen, if you tell me the truth about Black America and the bull crap we doing, I accept it. Or I say, you know what? Let me look into it. I'm not emotionally attached.
Brandon,
I'm in
Brandon, Brandon, listen to me.
what? What?
I want you to be a critic of Ibrahim Traoré. I want you to go to all the sources on top of all the one that you already have. You also have to trust you cannot trust one sided source. You have to trust most of the sources before you form an opinion. Most of the time when I listen to you, I feel like you are only reading one side. That's why I go after the information you provide. Some of the
But
information that you provide is accurate. Sometimes when someone talks and you don't respond, you tend to agree with the person. But when you say something, I'm not saying it's intentional, but when you say something, it's not accurate. Last time when you talk about the tomato and you were doubting that there was a tomato processing factory that was open, you were doubting that. Rokoya called in and said she's in Ghana. In fact, she has knowledge of it. You see, when you
hey,
make those statements, then you have to be able to back it up. If you
hey,
can't back it
St.
up,
James. St. James, I didn't say, wait a minute. I didn't say that I didn't believe the tomato factory happened. I said, what are
that
you
you
going
are
to do?
doubting it. You are
No,
doubting it,
listen,
right?
no. What I said was, what are you going to do? Throw tomatoes at the terrorists? And I was being funny. I believe he's doing it. I don't trust Wody Maya, because Wody Maya used to be in China telling us how great China was until they kicked his ass out, and then his tune changed. I already know that guy is a propagandist. Go back, he probably erased the videos. Bro used to be a China glazer. He was even dating Chinese women. Then they kicked him out, and then he started speaking against China. I think Wody Maya is kind of just fair weather. If they like him and they let him come in, he's going to say good things. That's not real reporting. I want to get it from the people on the ground. I even believe St. James to a certain extent. But I'm saying we just have to be patient, let this stuff play out. I will donate money to Ibrahim Traoré. I have no problem. Tell me where I can send my
That's kind of
$100.
you. It's very
Well,
kind.
tell me where to send my $100. I'll give him $100 a month for the next year, just for him to be successful. But we got to start being like how the Jewish people are with the
No,
IDF, or how the Palestinians are with
I wanted
the
to come in here
Gaza.
real quick, Brandon.
Let's start putting our money where our mouth is, and that's where I land.
No, I
Okay,
talked to your brother.
so
I talked to
somebody
your
is
brother.
saying, yeah, 1 second. Somebody is saying that the loan was offered, but Traore rejected the loan. I just want to get some
That's a
information
lie.
on that.
That's a lie.
What about you, Sim James? Is that the truth, or did he accept the loan?
The loan was already there, Brandon. If you read it, there was they call it the second round or the third round. The loan was already there
So he
prior
didn't
to
No,
cancel
being.
it. He just continued it.
he
Yes, the
accepted
loan
it.
was.
He
He
accepted
didn't
it.
sign. Did he sign a new loan with IMS, Brandon? Is that what the paper is saying? Brand new.
Yes, they requested a new loan on top of the 303, and the
Oh
IMF
wow.
approved it. So, I
Because
mean, he should take the loan, because the
no.
people there will be starving if he doesn't take the loan.
My
Exactly.
question is right. So when he makes all the statement, right? So also you have to understand, if it takes a loan, wherever the loan come from, Is it a good loan to take? Like what you said, if the terms of the loan are favorable to the country, you have to go for it. You have to go for it. If you need the money to do something and the terms are good, so you take it. So I don't know where we're going with the fact that he took a loan from IMS. If that's, I don't even dig into those things like that, because I do believe the brother has he has his mind in the right place. Trust me.
Do you know what the terms are?
Let me finish. You just mentioned you just mentioned Alpha right, Brandon? You just mentioned Alpha right? Even before Traore, Alfred mentioned something about the prior president of Burkina Faso that I didn't even know. He's the one who mentioned that to me. And we went back and forth with it. And it turns out to be correct. I was leaning to agree, but I let him just lay it down for me. When he did that, I let him give me the information. When I got the information, I told him I didn't know that. But my people were proven to be right. We got the man out of there. Ibrahim Traoré, I'm telling you, I understand the people being overhyped. If that's what you mean, overhyped about the guy, is the new leader of the... Brandon, you would never hear me say those things. Did you ever heard me say that?
So you agree with us that it's a bit overhyped and people are getting too far ahead of themselves?
On a different live, didn't you hear me say there's a little overhype?
Okay.
On Carla's channel, I said there was a little overhype about certain things. People take information, they prop it up, they change it. It's like that all the time. But the guy has his mind in the right place and he's leading his people. Brandon, why would I gain? This guy is not from my family. I don't know him from Adam. Do you think I'm going to sit in America, trust a man who is misleading my people? Do you think I would do that? Do you think I would just sit there and let Ibrahim Traoré take everybody on a different direction? And I would not say anything? What do I gain? What do I benefit from it? What do I gain from that?
We know you're not going to do that because we're going to keep challenging you, so you go and find the truth.
Bro, I don't have a history of people who don't. I don't follow bad leaders. I don't even follow. If I see something that I don't like, I don't even try to listen to it.
Who was the last leader before Traore that you supported, that you thought was a good leader?
Burkina Faso supported 100%. You support some. You can support a 50%, 60%, not 100%. Not 100%. Sankara was somebody that we really supported. My people. I was a baby then, but my people supported Sankara 100%. But some people did not. But the majority of the people in that land supported him.
It was only Blaise Compaoré for a while, and then the two other leaders before.
No, there was no support there. There was not.
No, I'm saying. So who do you support amongst those people?
The same people that support your president in Liberia, you will always find someone to support the president in Africa. This is not the difficult part. With money, you can get people to follow you, right, Elvis?
No, I'm talking about you personally. I'm not worried about.
No. For me, I never voted for him. I never voted for him. I never looked into anything he was doing. But Sankara, I was a baby, but I still felt the vibe. I was born under Sankara, so I knew that he was one of the great leaders of Burkina Faso. So the guy is trying to do about the same. The day this guy is going to start betraying the people of Burkina Faso, Brandon, you don't even have to do a show. I will come to you. I'll come to you. If I see something wild, something weird, something that's a little fishy about the people being let down, trust me, I will come to you. I did the same with Alpha Damas. I told him, hey, the previous president, he wasn't doing right by the people.
I want to know, St. James, what do you think? Let's take Ouattara, for example, right? Because they're next door neighbors. What do you think distinguishes Traore in his governance approach from Alassane Ouattara?
That was going to be a good question for the Ivorian. I don't want to compare Ouattara to Traore. Ouattara is doing something a little different here. If you talk, because you see, these YouTube channels, we say something about somebody's country, they will call you, they will say things. I want to avoid that, I don't even want to compare the two because I know the situation that both countries been through, so I want to be careful about it.
No, because I
can guarantee. So if you want to check the temperature, right?
Question, right? I think it's a fair question because we're looking at the results on the ground in terms of development, infrastructures, and all of those different things. And people will criticize Ouattara for being so close to the French, taking a lot of loans, People accuse, of having French be their central bank, or the France be their central bank, all of those things. But be it, even if I could see all of those points, Ivory Coast is still a lot more developed than Burkina Faso.
Ivory Coast was developed before Ouattara. So
I'm telling you, he's
Ouattara
built
just
upon that
built on it.
development.
He just built on
Yeah.
it, but Ivory Coast was developed before Ouattara.
And that's the point that I'm making. So France has been there for the longest, has been quote unquote ripping off the Ivory Coast and
If
taking
you
their
listen to
resources,
the
but they're
I'll
developed
give you
more
an
so than
example.
other West African
Right. I'll give you an
francophone
example.
countries.
I'll give you an example. When these people came, I don't want to. Well, the colonizer first came in Francophone Africa, that area. They favor Senegal and Ivory Coast because of the climate first, the access to the sea. So they made these two countries the headquarters. So they favor these countries way more than the others, some of the others. So that was even the situation that what Thomas Sankara was having with Ofueboyin. So most of the investment was going to these two countries. So these two countries, for some reason, our elder told us they benefited more from the investment coming from the people. That's why they are more developed, more advanced. Because if you look at Ivory Coast, you will see more white people from France living there. Whereas in Burkina Faso, you don't see that. In Ivory Coast, you will see a lot of business from them. Whereas in Burkina Faso, you don't see that.
That's
And
because they have
Ivory
better
Coast,
infrastructure and stability, right?
I'm sorry?
That's because they have more infrastructure and stability. That's why white people
Yeah,
are
they do,
joining.
but they have their own turmoil. If you want to compare turmoil to turmoil, we see the number of deaths. Ivory Coast is on top of us. So stability, yeah, is somehow, but in 2011, when they had the situation, how many people died compared to us?
Yeah, so can you credit the Ivorian leaders for being better managers? Because yes, you can say the
Well,
French
yeah,
favored
I can
them,
give them,
but they
I can
better
give
manage
them
those
that. Yeah,
investments.
I can
Hey,
give them that. But when
guys,
somebody had a leg up,
I gotta read these super chats and then we're gonna close
okay.
out. Well, I'll let Cuddy speak and then we'll close out. FBA Young Line, thank you for $4.99. Holla. Brandon's jailbird deadbeat father is currently getting his cheeks clapped by Fleet Star.
Wow.
Hey, FBA Young Line,
I wouldn't disagree with that.
FBA Young Line, thank you for the $1.99. Holla. Even FBA stand with Traore and the AES. Lee Clinton, thank you for the $5 holla. Ibrahim got $60 million for 4 French spies. Why would he need $37 million from the IMF? All right, go ahead, Cuddy. Then we'll close out.
I got two things. Appreciate it, Donis. Since y'all boys like to research so much, go research what did eBay do with that $5 million that the last people was paid to take him out. What did he do with the money? And also, how can people speak about infrastructure that ain't never been here? Ivory Coast, they got a beautiful city, but they got slums in the Ivory Coast, bro. Burkina Faso don't got slums. And I'm going to land at that.
All right, guys. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Peace.
Come to my channel.